Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Manchester Aquatic Centre. Here's the scene outside the Aquatic Centre this morning. There's Manny, the mascot for this World Championships 2023 Allianz Para Swimming World Championships. We're on the last day, day 7 of this 7-day meet. My name's Paul Noble, and I'm joined by Liz Johnson.
Good morning. That is as excited, as alert as I am. No, it's very exciting. Sometimes we are seeing some people again for the first time. A lot of athletes choosing specific events here, not doing their whole program. So the SB8 100 meters breaststroke is this morning. First up, so we're seeing some of the breaststroke specialists get their campaign underway, take part in their campaign, complete their campaign today.
Yeah, last day of the 7 days. We have some people have been on pretty much the whole of the 7 days. One guys or the other, a few relays as well that we've seen over the week. There was the scenes from last night. Jessica Lowe picking up another gold medal at the World Championships. Italy still top the table. Bocciardo won last night. Some success for the whole nation. Maisie Summers-Newton and Ellie Chalice taking gold last night for Great Britain. And the officials making their way onto poolside this morning for the final day of action. I hope I'm going to last out this final day, Liz.
You are. You've got this. Day 7.
Voice is a bit croaky this morning. I'll warm up.
You've used it a lot. There's been a lot to get excited about. There are the Irish. We did say the SB8 100 meters breaststroke is this morning. They're Ellen Keen's support crew.
No mistaking who they're supporting. The green of Ireland. Ellen Keen, very first event this morning. Women's 100 breaststroke. Number of 400s as well for the S11 class. Turner IM as well. We like the Turner individual medleys. The very last one we'll see at these championships. SM13, S5 as well. So all through the classification system, S1 to S10. Those with physical impairments, S11, 13. Those with visual impairments. And S14 for those with intellectual impairments.
Well, we've had a lot of exciting relays this week, and we do finish this morning's session with heats of that 34-point mixed 4x100 freestyle relay. It's the longest heat session of the week this morning, just so that we get our last fix of the action. But the final session tonight will be short and sharp. Lots of 50s today to balance out those 400s. There is the core room. Looks a bit clearer today. I don't think it is. I think it's exactly the same. Maybe we've just got used to it. There are heat number 1 of the SB8 women's 100 meters breaststroke ready to line up, and then behind them it's the men, so they get a bit longer to wait. You can see then
there's
just
no wheelchairs or no tappers in there. Maybe that's why it's looking a bit more space in there. There's more Lackey, experienced Italian. There's the breaststrokers, Ellen Keen with her support in the crowd, ready just to come out for this very first event. Let the camera out first. Hungarians represented by Rekatar. There they are in the crowd, Hungarians. We're hoping to make another final, some more medals for Rekatar. There is Ellen Keen supporters. Very first heat this morning. Goes his heats all the way. Swimmers trying to qualify for the finals tonight. Ireland already with 1 gold medal, looking for some more today. A couple of good chances. Stephen Clegg in the back there, gold medalist earlier in the week. As we go into the first of 2 heats of the women's SB8 breaststroke. So 5 swimmers in this first heat, 6 in the second. You just have to lose 3 to make it to the final tonight. Ellen Keane, we spoke about, Paralympic champion. She goes in the centre lane. So Ryan Marcus Soto was a silver medalist in the backstroke last night. With the exception of the Spaniard, it's the breaststroke specialists in this first heat, Liz.
Yeah, they are, and Ellen Keane will want to put in a good performance in the heat here this morning. She can get away with going easy, but it is a one and only event at these championships. She's been waiting a week for this one. She's been here training, supporting, and she'll want to see where she's at, get those cobwebs blown away. She's the second fastest on the world rankings this year, but her fastest time this year is a 1:24. Her best is a 1:19, so she'll be looking to move things along. She goes out there in a 38.98. Fukuda is in second place at the turn. Going well at the top now is Marcus Soto. But Ellen Keane looking strong here. It's not a big field, but as you said, Paul, the Paralympic champion is the world champion is here. So it will be a competitive race.
Yeah, Ellen Keane doing well here in this very first heat. That'll please her supporters in the crowd. And Ellen Keane's going to take this one comfortably. It's going to be a decent time, I think. Yeah, 1:22 for Ellen Keane. That's the fastest she's been this year. Fukuda should make the final as well as Marcus Soto. Top 3, Ellen Keane, pleased with that one.
Cheers, Fukuda looking good there. Fukuda looks pretty chill on that one. She's not breathing too heavily. Ellen Keane did work that hard, but like we said, she needed to because she wanted to see where she was at this morning. Marcus Soto back in after that silver medal last night in the backstroke. We said that a lot this week. Some swimmers have had really tight turnarounds with the schedule. But Ellen Keane will be happy. They'll keep an eye on this second heat. Not so much with the worry that they will make it to the final, but just to see the times that come in. They're just getting results. There's the wave to her supporters. They travel everywhere with her. Those suits are well travelled.
They are, and there is a disqualification. It doesn't affect the top 2 places, or the top 3 places, but Ellen Keane should go into that final. Second heat coming out. 6 in this second heat. We have Usna Kukandakwe from Uganda, Makuni Atsuki from Japan, the world champion Anastasia Dimitriev, Paralympic champion from 2016 Katarina Roxon from Canada, Paula Novina from Croatia, she goes in 6. The young Chinese swimmer, just 14 years of age, that is Zhu Hu, goes in lane number 7. So there's Roxon. Great record she has in this event. She was bronze medalist last year at the World Championships. Roxon, Paralympic champion, of course, in 2016. And she had a highway named after her in Canada.
She did. It was a great swim to take that gold medal in Rio. Bit of surprise, but she delivered. Been on the Canadian team for a long time, Roxon. She's there on the right of that shot. Anastasia Dimitriev has had an excellent week. She was in the Spanish relay team, the 34-point mixed medley relay. She also had a good breaststroke on the 200 medley. So we know that Dimitriev's got the breaststroke this week. Roxon, we have seen her once or twice this week, but again, much like Ellen Keane, this is her favoured event. This is her specialist event. She's had to wait till the last day for it. She is leading at the moment. She led at the turn by 8/100ths of a second from Dimitriev. Lutsugi another Japanese athlete going very well here. She is going well in third position in this heat. Like we said, this heat does not need to go too quickly at all. And they're pretty relaxed here now as Dimitrov just starts to stretch away from Roxanne.
Yeah, Dimitrov did a good leg for Spain as they won that medley relay. She had a bit of a tough job in that relay when she was up against the male breaststroke swimmers. But Spain came out on top there. Spain came out on top in that heat just gone. 125.81, so not as fast as Ellen Keane in that first heat for Dimitrov. Dimitrov, still only 14 years of age, Spanish world champion. Roxanne on the right of the screen got away well there. She'll qualify for the final. Roxanne, oh, she'll be in that medal contention, I think. Dimitrov and Ellen Keane, the pre-race favourites. Roxanne, medalist from last year. We'll be hoping to upset the big two in the middle. And two Japanese swimmers with some good swims this morning. Kanon Fukuda and also Utsugi. So we're just waiting for confirmation of that one. We saw disqualification in the first heat. Wonder if we're going to have something similar in the second heat, Liz.
Well, all eyes are on that board. That heat went down the first 52 seconds slower than Ellen Keane took out that first heat. So Ellen Keane definitely did put in a strong performance this morning. But Anastasia Dimitrov looks like she's got a lot more to give.
Oh, another disqualification here. And it's Zhu disqualified. So Roxanne will be in that final alongside Dimitrov, Keane, Fukuda and Utsugi. Fukundakwe making it in for Uganda as well. I think that's our first final here at these World Championships. So the men's SB8 first heat. So a few more in this one, Liz. 7 in the first heat, 7 in the second. So swimmers will be making sure they're at the front of the field. Position all important in these heats here. Of course, the top 8 times from the 2 heats will qualify for the final. You don't want to be on the wrong side of a close touch for position in this first heat. It's a combined event, so we have some SB7s swimming up against the SB8s. Of course, just one event, the SB7 and 8, they're not separate sets of medals, they're all competing against each other. At the lineup, line number 1 is Campos, Volper in 2, Morlaki in 3. We just saw Serrano Zarate in 4, Hodge in 5, Liskor in 6, and Mohammed in line number 7. So Serrano Zarate, world record holder in the SB7, swimming up a class now, the Colombian, and going well in the early stages. Robin Liskor also with a good start, that black cap.
Yeah, much like the women's event, there's a few breaststroke specialists that have been waiting all week for this one. Serrano Zarate has had a busy week already, but the breaststroke is his favoured event. He is swimming up a classification group, so he has moved it in the schedule this week, but he's looking strong in this one. These can't afford really to hang about, because whilst there is plenty of opportunity to get into the final, it's a lot tighter than the women's event. And Serrano Zarate will want to make sure of his position there. Lixor still going well up in 6 for Estonia. That yellow hat of Tim Hodge for Australia now coming through as well. But it will be Serrano Zarate that takes this heat out. 113.21. He is the world record holder in the SB7 category. That stands at a 111.18.
Yeah, he's been on good form in the breaststroke this year. Sirando Zarate set the world record in the 50 breaststroke earlier this year. The 100 he set last year, 2022. And looking good in the early stages of that race, held on to the end. And another case where we see a swimmer swimming up a class. Sirando Zarate up against the SB8s, but he's going to be very competitive in that class. We saw that with Tanya Schultz yesterday, the S4 swimmer swimming up against the S5s, but Sirando Zarate is going to be a real threat in this SB8 event. And he takes that first heat, 1:13.21. He'll be guaranteed a place in the final. 7 more swimmers to come in the second heat. Lixor looking good for Estonia. Hodge, also a good time, both in the 1:14 range. Morlaki with 1:15 in that previous heat. Have a close eye on this one. Christian Sari, Zhu Haiju, Andres Onea, Oscar Salguero Garasteo, Almorcid Hale, Joshua Wilmer, Carlos Martinez Fernandez. Big names in this one. Almorcid Hale, champion from last year. Chile's first gold medal at the World Championships. So Almorcid Hale, he goes in lane number 5. Salguero Ostea. He's a Paralympic champion in Rio 2016.
And all 3 World Championship medalists from last year are in this heat. Salguero Galisto took the silver, Andres Nea in lane 3 took the bronze, and Commonwealth champion Joshua Wilmer of New Zealand goes in lane number 6. So those 4 going well at the moment. Also going well into is Zhu Hezhou. Salguero Galisteo led at the turn by 3/4 of a second, and he's looking good here in these shot at the front of the picture. Now coming back into this is Wilmer of New Zealand. He's coming through strongly. Touch could be important, but Salguero Galisteo takes that heat, 1:12.12 from the fast finishing Wilmer. Here is Joshua Wilmer. He surprised everybody in Birmingham to take that gold medal.
Yeah, he looked like he surprised himself that day in Birmingham. Great swim to beat Timothy Hodge in Commonwealth Games, but Salguero Galisteo in first. Almorcid Hale should qualify for the final. He finishes in 3rd, just getting beat by Joshua Wilmer, who's becoming his trademark, that fast finish now from New Zealand, Joshua Wilmer.
Yeah, well, if it works for you, the thing is with breaststroke, you can see other people when they're ahead of you, and you can sometimes get sucked into their race plan. It's really important to focus on your own lane, focus on your own game. And it could be that close tonight as well.
Well, there's the result of heat number 2. Salguero Galisteo, Wilmer, Almorcid Hale, and Zhu Hanoya in 5th, and I think he's just going to miss out, the Austrian, only by 7/100ths of a second. It was very close. Salguero Galisteo takes it. Sirando Zarate will be in that final as well. So, yeah, good final in prospect tonight. Good time for Wilmer, but here's the S10 classifications. There's Lisa Kruger. 100 backstroke for S10. 5 swimmers in this first heat, 5 in the second. Lisa Kruger. In the middle lane, Susanna Coe, another Estonian we'll see in the pool this morning. Jasmine Greenwood for Australia in lane number 3. Emmeline Pierre's had a good competition so far, but Kruger trying to pick up another medal, the Dutch swimmer. Emmeline Pierre's freestyle has been very impressive this week. 50 freestyle bronze medalist. Good 100 freestyle as well, but Lisa Kruger will be the favourite for this one. She goes in that middle lane, the middle of the 5 swimmers.
Yeah, Kruger's had a good week. By her own admissions though, and her standards, she'll call it a mixed week. Sometimes she's been delighted with. That 100 metres butterfly was exceptional. And then some swims she was a bit more disappointed with. She got a number of silver medals. An opportunity here for her to take a gold on the last day of these World Championships. She is the top of the world rankings, but she's only 6/100ths ahead of Bianca Papp, who we will see go in heat number 2. Kruger looks good though down that first 50, 34.09 ahead of Emmeline Pierre, 35.39, with Jasmine Greenwood just behind for Australia at the turn, 35.47. But now it is Kruger and Pierre moving away slightly from the other 3 swimmers.
Yeah, Kruger and Bianca Papp have had some good tussles over the last few years. Kruger into the wall in 1:10.90. Kruger took the title in 2019, just 1/100th ahead of Bianca Papp. So, top of the world rankings this year, Lisa Kruger. She takes that one ahead of Emmeline Pierre and Jasmine Greenwood. Those top 3 swimmers, with 5 in the heat to follow, they'll be safely into that final. Susanna Kohl from Estonia just missing out, 1:14.85 in 4th place, but in a good position to challenge for a place in that final. But Kruger looked good, looked comfortable, Liz.
Yeah, she looks strong. She's one of those swimmers with quite a busy program at these World Championships. She's performed very well, and she's hoping to finish on a high. That was comfortable for her though, uncontrolled.
Yeah, Kruger takes it 1:10.90 for the Dutch swimmer. Emmeline Pierre in 2nd, Jasmine Greenwood just in front of Susanna Kohl. So, top 4 in good shape for making the final, but it all depends on the swimmers in this one. Bianca Papp goes in the middle lane. Paralympic and world champion from Hungary. There's Adnel Roulet, silver medalist last year in the World Championships. 2 Canadians in this one, Aurélie Rivard and Katie Cosgrave. And Zhang Ming, the Asian record holder from China, goes in lane number 2, closest to us. There's Cosgrave, the Canadian. I haven't really seen Cosgrave at the major championships before. This is a debut for Katie Cosgrave. We've seen her swim a couple of events this week, and she was out very fast in the individual medley on the backstroke. So Cosgrave right up there at lane number 6. Her backstroke looked good in that individual medley, so one to watch out for, I think, this one.
Yeah, both the Canadians got off to good starts. Cosgrave up there in 6th and Rivard in lane 3. But now that we are up and into the swimming, it's the 2 swimmers in the centre lanes. Bianca Papp of Hungary and Anil Roulet of France going well. And it is Papp that turns first, 34.21 from Roulet, 34.28 with Cosgrave, 34.64. Very tight there at the turn. Now Papp looks like she is moving ahead. Roulet putting some space between her and Cosgrave, with last year's bronze medalist Rivard in 4th position at the moment.
Yeah, we talked about Papp all week. She's had a great week, 2 gold medals so far, and this is her number 1 event. Bianca Papp, 109.96 for her. She will progress to the final, and Nelda Roulet in 2nd. They have been gold and silver in World Championships before. Cosgrave, good swim from the Canadian. She will go in 3rd place, so she's into the final. And Rivard should make it as well. And Zhang Meng might just miss out the Chinese swimmer.
Well, Bianca Pap looked supreme there. Going once they were up and into the swimming, she does have the disadvantage off the start and the turn. Her impairment is in her lower limb, but once she was up and swimming, she looked like she was just sat on the top of the water, floating along. And the only swimmer to go under 110 in these heats.
Yeah, Pap takes that one. Roulet will be in the final. The two Canadians will be there as well. Zhang will be the one to miss out from that heat. And there is the final. Bianca Pap, Anel Roulet, Lisa Kruger, all been medalists at the World Championships before. The youngster Katie Cosgrove in fourth. Have a good chance to challenge for the medals. As we go for the men's event, 100 backstroke S10. Swimmers coming out. And, 6 swimmers in this first heat, 6 swimmers in the second. Menciotti goes in the centre lane. It's Cordero, Elliott. There's Menciotti, the Italian. Just missed out on the medal podium a couple of events this week. Flora Murray from France in 5. We saw the yellow cap of Cole Pearce of Australia in 6. And João Fidalgo, the second Portuguese swimmer, goes in lane number 7. So 2 Portuguese swimmers on either side. Thomas Cordero, remember, a few days back, just missed out on the final in the 200 metres individual medley. He'll be hoping to get in to a final tonight. Portuguese swimmer right down at the bottom there. Elliott's got a good record in the international competitions, bronze medalist last year. Menciotti was silver medalist last year. And Murray is a medalist at the Paralympic Games. So big names in this one, Liz.
Yeah, there's a lot of competition. Menciotti in lane 4 took the silver in Funchal at last year's World Championships. He will be looking to get on that podium this evening, and he's looking strong down the first 50, 29.87 from Murray, 30.82, and then Elliott, 31.28. They were your front 3 at the 50-metre mark. Cole Pearce of Australia is up in lane number 6. He's got company from Fidalgo and Cordero, all those all together there, but it's getting closer at the front now.
Yeah, it's Murray going well. The Frenchman and the Italian coming in together. Oh, it's close. 103.47 for Flora Murray. Top of the world rankings this year, Liz, in 101 for Flora Murray, so it's a comfortable swim from him. He takes it in 103.47. Looks relaxed enough. Menciotti just skips over the line rope there. Cole Pearce did get 3rd, just ahead of Alex Elliott. Not much in it for 3rd and 4th. And again, as we've seen, 3rd and 4th, you'd rather be 3rd and 4th in a 2-heat event.
Especially in a 2-heat event like this, I think it gets a bit tight. It's very tight at the top this year between Murray, Raimondi and Menciotti. And then there's a gap, and then there's a cluster again. You don't, like you said, you don't want to be in that 4th, 5th place touch, because that's where the cluster starts to come under pressure for the final.
So Murray will be safely into that final. It's the only one guaranteed so far. 7 in the second heat. In fact, 6 in the second heat. So Menciotti will be guaranteed a place as well. We've got 6 taking the start for this heat number 2. Again, some of the names you've become familiar with this week. Stefano Raimondi in the centre lane from Italy, 2 from Argentina, 2 from Ukraine. Raimondi and Thomas Gallagher in that middle lane. 4 and 5, the 2 yellow marked lanes you'll see at the pool there. There's Gallagher. Very good week in the freestyle events. 2 medals in the 50 and in the 100 freestyle. Raimondi, though, has had an excellent competition again. 4 gold medals for Raimondi. Silver yesterday as well in the 100 freestyle. Here's the reigning champion in this one. Last year, just dipping under the 1 minute mark to take that gold in Portugal last year.
Yeah, he went deep off that start there to make the most of the underwater. He had a good start, going well up there. In lane number 7 is Sinestro of Argentina. He's had a very good start. A lot closer down this first 50 than heat number 1 was. They all go in a line. Touch goes to Raimondi's third. Sinestro right at the top there. Did get the touch, 30.92, just 1/100th ahead of Popov, who's challenged those world rankings this year. He's been a 101 as well. So this is going to be tight, and it's going to be tight this morning as well. Look.
Well, Popov and Sinestro, 2 swimmers, they haven't really challenged the medal podium, but they've been there or thereabouts in world finals over the last few years. And good swim from Popov. Look at that, 102.86 for him. Raimondi in 2nd. And Nemchenko came through for 3rd. Butterfly medalist earlier in the week. And Sinestro in 4th. So, should make it those top 4. We shall see. Raimondi should be safely into that final. Good swim from Sinestro at the top there. He went out really well. Nemchenko finished well. Popov as well was always in contention in the centre there. And it's looking pretty good for Popov. Raimondi, as we've seen quite a number of times this week, he's got a heavy programme. Just easing in, making sure he qualifies for that final.
You got to manage those energy levels. He doesn't mind what lane he's in for the final.
Oh, Popov takes it. Raimondi in 2nd place. And Nemchenko in 3rd. They'll all qualify for that final. Sinestro will make it as well. Cole Pierce is in, and Alex Elliott as well. So, Gallagher just missing out there on that place in that final. We're on to the 400 freestyles now, Liz, in the S11 class. Swimmers with no vision at all. I'll be wearing blacked out goggles. We have 5 swimmers in this first heat and 6 swimmers in the second. So the S11 events have been real high quality this week, haven't they?
Yeah, there's been a lot of returners to the major championship program. Seen some of the Chinese athletes coming back into this. We've also seen some great swims from relative newcomers, and then we've also seen those that we're more familiar with doing well. And Ana Luz Pelotero of Argentina in lane 4 had a great day at the 100 meters backstroke yesterday. She broke the America's record twice in one day. Very consistent swimming from her. She eventually came through to win the bronze medal last night. So she's back in this morning. Also going well. Here is Wang Zini. She's had a good week as well. As we see at the turn, all S11 athletes get tapped because they do swim with blacked out goggles on or no vision at all, and that tapping stick is there to signal when they are coming into the wall. You'll notice that they are various lengths, and that is a preference for the swimmer. Some getting tapped on the back, we just saw, like we can see there, Wang, she got tapped in the middle of the back.
Is it line 5 there, the Mexican Alcazar Figueroa. Just looking at the big tapping stick that the Mexican has. Here's the Argentinians there in lane number 4. That Argentinian Pejotero just getting tapped there, but and just coming out of that turn. But you see that, Liz? Just a little bit of directional problems there for the Argentinian as she came out.
Well, the thing is, when you go into that turn, you're going in on one side of the wall, and then you need to come out almost and find the other lane rope if that's what your preference is, because you can see how both of these swimmers swimming quite near to the lane rope. They do that for the direction. Every now and again they might catch their lat or their shoulder on that lane rope. You can see there right on cue from Wang. Then it just lets them know that they're still on that track. They almost prefer to swim, as you can see Wang getting tapped on the back there. And what she did, as she tumbled, she also twisted, so she came back up on that same lane rope. So she tries to stick to the same lane rope each side. The Argentinian clearly prefers to be swimming with the lane rope on the right, which is quite often what athletes do when they're training, because they're training in a pool with multiple people, and then so you go round in a circle, so that's circle swimming, and that's what Pelotera's doing. But it does mean, like you said, Paul, when she comes off the wall, she then has to find that side, and it does lead to some directional differences at times. That is Alcazar Figueroa. She is going well. She's got quite a long tapping stick. It's got a lot of bend in it, that one.
Jazz, that's the longest one we've seen this morning so far. There's always that. You remember the Scandinavians, I think, who had the very long tapping sticks, almost got on to the 5 meter mark for these tapping sticks for the Scandinavians. The Mexican one is probably going to rival that. There's the leader, Alcazar Figueroa, just alongside Wang now. But you'll just see the differences. Alcazar Figueroa is going to be tapped, maybe about 2 or 3 meters out. The other swimmer's getting tapped a little bit closer in. There's a tap in the kind of small of the back. She takes a couple of strokes and over. That's the 250 mark. 3 lines to go in this 400.
Yeah, and all three there at the front did navigate that turn. Wang getting the better of the turns there, because Alcazar Figueroa was in a comfortable leading position, but now it does look like Wang is moving through. She's going well here, the Chinese athlete closer to us. There will be another Chinese athlete in the next heat. No Anastasia Pagonis of the United States of America here this week. She is the world record holder. She is the Paralympic champion. She had shoulder surgery, so sitting this one out. But I'm sure she will be following the results and be back next year for Paris. Wang Xinyi still, now she's going through the midpoint of this 50 meters. Alcazar Figueroa about 3 meters behind her, and then Pelotero still going well for Argentina, currently in 3rd position in lane 4. But it will be Wang that turns first. She turns in a time of 4:54.13 at the 350 mark, followed over by Alcazar Figueroa 4:58.37, and then Pelotero 5 minutes 0.81. They are your front 3 in this heat number 1 as we go into the final 25 meters with our leader.
Yeah, it's in the center of the lane now for Wang. Just has to negotiate this final 15 now for the Chinese swimmer. Took that gold medal yesterday in the backstroke ahead of Kylie Wen and Pejotero. Wang takes it 5:35.65. It's close for the 2nd spot, but as Alcazar Figueroa and Pejotero, they are in now in 2nd and 3rd, so 5:35 for Wang. It's a reasonable time for the Chinese swimmer. She is qualifying for that final 5:43 her entry time, so it's faster than that entry time for Wang. I think she has been faster before. Well, final swimmers that are in the water. There's Yarina Popova. Popova making her debut here in Manchester. First World Championships for the Ukrainians. Great to see some youngsters coming through for the Ukrainian team. There's quite a few debutants from them, as well as the old hands that we've seen in the Ukrainian team. But Popova coming home now. Entry time of 6:43 for Popova. And she's gone 6:42, so pleased with that one. Slight improvement for the Ukrainian. But the black top goggles will be checked for these swimmers. Wang Yinji, he almost led pretty much the whole way. She was challenged in the kind of middle section by Alcazar Figueroa. And Wang looking pretty good, pretty consistent all the way through that one. And in the end, she wins it by around about 5 or 6 seconds. It's a good tussle for second. Vegetera coming back strongly in the closing stages, but Alcazar Figueroa just getting in for that second position. So, as the Dutch fans, they will have their chance to shout for their swimmer in the next heat. Is that the youngest Dutch fan? I've seen that before this week, I think.
We have, I think it is.
Disqualification in that one. Gray Fernandez. Wang taking that one though ahead of Alcazar Figueroa. Big names. Is it a Spanish fan? 2 Spanish fans.
See what you did there?
Yeah.
That was a proper dad joke, you know that, don't you?
Oh, thanks.
But it is warm. It's a nice fan too.
It's a Dutch swimmer. Lizette Braumsma had a great championship so far, winning the 100 freestyle. So we are missing one of the swimmers as well in lane number 3. So just 5 swimmers taking the start. Another Argentinian, Nadia Baez, goes in 7. Home nation represented by Scarlett Humphrey. There's Lizette Braumsma. Going through her pre-race rituals. A Dutch swimmer, she's been world champion before in 2019, Paralympic champion 2016. She's a European record holder. Top of the world rankings this year, Liz.
She is, and she goes in lane number 4. Kai Luan goes in 2 for China. McLean Hermes is in 5 for America. Scarlett Humphrey back in the water for the home crowd to have something to shout about for Great Britain in 6, and then the experienced Nadia Baez in 7 for Argentina. And as we go down the first 50 metres, we're just getting into the first turn. It is Brunsma that goes over 34.14. Next over was Scarlett Humphrey, 36.32, with Kai Luan 37.15. Just behind her, McLean Hermes 37.34. They're your front 4. Lizette Brunsma now just going diagonal. She went through the 25 metres and now she's just going diagonally across the lane rope from left to right. She hasn't clattered it though, she's just found it, so that's not too bad at the moment. Going well now in 5. McLean Hermes has had a good second 50. She's pulled up to go ahead of Scarlett Humphrey, as Humphrey gets tapped on the head at the same time that Hermes gets touched in the mid of the back, and they go over together. But Hermes does come out in front. Yeah,
Brunsma way at the front of the field, and It's kind of been a resurgence in form for Lisette Brunsma this year.
Yeah, she's doing exactly the same thing now, though, that she did at the 25-metre mark of the last length, but this time she did it at 35 metres. She's having a bit of a left to right to left. She's not having a great 50 here, but she has got that advantage at the moment, so it won't be too pressing. Again, she's come off the wall and she's going diagonally across. She's just found the other lane rope at the 15-metre mark. So she's not having the swim that she would have dreamt of in the heats this morning, but she is considerably far ahead, 10 metres ahead of McLean Hermes, as McLean Hermes just went through the red 15-metre marker. So Brunsma has got enough of an advantage to absorb this misdirection this morning, but she'll be hoping that she can sort that out for the final.
Some great camera shots we are seeing here this week. And you know, those kind of long shots right down the pool just shows you kind of the direction of these S11 swimmers and the kind of challenges that they have. Of course, everyone wearing blacked out goggles, so great skill for these S11 swimmers to stay straight down the lane ropes. And as you said, Liz, they use the lane ropes, often skirting down the lane ropes to see where they are. That'll give them a little bit of a guide as they go through. And some of the S11 swimmers are absolutely incredible. They manage to stay right down the middle of the lane. Incredible skills.
Yeah, we've talked about race skills of the week. In the men's event, Edgar Matakis manages to go down the middle of the lane. Roger Dorsman always manages to get good starts, turns and finishes. And I guess it is a challenge, it is difficult, and once you hit the lane rope once, it can be offset. Even with sight, when you hit the lane rope, it is very distracting. So then to have to refocus yourself quite quickly, it could be quite disorientating for some of these swimmers. But Brunsma, she's going well here. She'll go over at the last 100-metre turn, 3:51.1. She leads the way. Hermes still in second, just getting tapped now and going over. It's those two ahead, going well down in lane 2 now is Kai Luen. She's in third. She's had a good week here. But Brunsma there again. There's a range of strokes because for a lot of these athletes, it's their interpretation of what they've been told that a stroke looks like. And Brunsma, she swims. She almost puts the palm of her hand, the base of the palm of her hand, in the water first, and then gets hold of the water and goes through it.
Yeah, she comes off the last turn there, 4:31.48 for Lisette Brunsma, and she is heading through this final 50 ahead of McLean Hermes, 4:41.17 for the American. Kyla Wen just going over in 4:50.42. But Lisette Brunsma just veering slightly into the centre of the lane. She was going down the left, she's now in the centre of the lane. But it's going to be a decent time for Lisette Brunsma in this second heat. She comes home around about 5:11ish. Yeah, 5:11.89 for her. McLean Hermes is going to be around about 10 seconds down on Brunsma. 5:21 for her. And Kyla Wen's coming through now for third place. Everything got a little bit stretched out as the race progressed there. That 400, Kyla Wen 5:32.60. And Scarlett Humphrey now coming home for the home nation. Scarlett Humphrey 5:46.15. Scarlett Humphrey being well supported this week by her family. Her twin sister Eliza's been here for the events this week and to support her sister. Of course, Eliza, a member of the GB team last year, and you know, siblings have been a feature of these championships, Liz.
Well, it is quite common, especially in the visually impaired categories, to have siblings who both have the same genetic condition. Baez now of Argentina up to the top of the pool in lane 7, just going through the red markers into the final 25 meters.
Lizette Brunsma, she'll be pleased with that performance this morning. 5:11.89 for her. All is well. She should progress to that final comfortably, as Baez just coming into the closing stages now. Baez finishes and Brunsma leaves the pool, hoping that that 5:11.89 will be confirmed once the blacked out goggles are checked. So Brunsma in the middle, Kai Luen, the best start off the blocks, but once they got into the swim, Lizette Brunsma was the class of the field. She swam away from the others, the lead increasing all the time. McLean Hermes had a good swim in second, 5:21 for McLean Hermes, faster than her entry time. But Lizette Brunsma, as I said, Liz has been on great form this year. Lizette Brunsma, back to the swimmer we knew 2 or 3 years ago, setting your records, European record, 200 freestyle earlier this year. And the result is confirmed for that second heat. The Dutch swimmer takes it, 5:11.89. McLean Hermes in second, Kylie Wen in third, and Scarlett Humphrey in fourth position. And they will all make it into the final. Brunsma leads the way from Hermes, Kylie Wen, and Wang Junyi. Brunsma will be favourite for that one, Liz, tonight.
Yeah, it's all quite spread out after those heats this morning, but a number of swimmers with plenty left in the tank compared to what they've already gone this year. So it will be interesting.
400 freestyle for men, just 4 in this first heat, 5 in the second, so they've only got to lose 1. There's Marco Menezes, tall figure from Portugal. Ucho Tomita from Japan, they go in the centre. There's Matias de Souza from Brazil in 3, and Hua Dongdong from China in 4. There's Tomita, tall figure of Menezes from Portugal. Won a medal last night in the 100 backstroke. We've also seen him perform well in this 400 freestyle. Just kind of missing out on a medal in the European Championship. I remember 2 years ago, just been beaten on the very final touch. He was on the podium last night though, Liz, alongside Mikhail Serban and Roger Dorsman. We think that must be the tallest podium of the week.
Yeah, they were. There was a lot of height in that podium. They go in the next heat, Dorsman and Serban, going well in these early stages, up in 6. It is Hua Dongdong. He's already a body length ahead of the field. He's getting tapped. Middle of the back for Hua. He's over first. 29.98 from Ucho Tomita. 32.28. Just 200ths ahead of Marcos Menezes. And then Mateus de Souza in 4th after the first 50 meters. Hua looking strong up there in lane 6. We're getting a good underwater shot. He's already kicking his legs quite hard. There's Hua as he comes in to be tapped and go over at the 100 meter mark, 103.25.
He's almost better known as a sprint freestyler. We've seen him win a medal in the 50 freestyle earlier this week. He's also got a good record in this 400 though, picking up a medal in the Paralympic Games and also in the World Championships 2019. No slouch over 400, but we know he's a good sprinter and he's gone out fast here in the early stages. Tomita in 2nd position. He was a Paralympic Games silver medalist in Tokyo a couple of years ago. Had a very good Tokyo Paralympics. Tomita taking a silver in this one, silver in the butterfly, and also a bronze in the medley. So Tomita, it's one line up from Menezes. those two are, well, side by side. They are, of course, visually impaired. They have no vision at all, but they'll be aware of each other, very close to each other at that lane rope. The two in the centre as they come to the halfway. Hua Dongdong will lead them through to 18.05 for the Chinese swimmer.
Yeah, Manessa's has got the quickest swim speed of the two, battling it out in 4 and 5. But Tomita has great turns. This time Meneses has managed to stay ahead of Tomita off the wall, and he is now in a clear, well, as he goes through the 25-meter mark of this length, I was going to say a clear second place. He's about body length ahead of Tomita as Hua goes over at the 250 mark. 4 in this one, 5 in the next heat, so only need to drop one swimmer, so don't need to see anything too heroic from these swimmers this morning. They'll be used to measuring their own pace because they don't have that luxury of seeing where other people are in the water.
Matheus Souza as well, the Brazilian, who did a great job for the Brazilian relay team. He's an experienced campaigner, isn't he? First World Championships back in 2010.
Yeah, he's a fixture on the Brazilian team. Like you said, they did have a great relay swim last night. Souza led that relay off. He's just going through the motions this morning, hoping that he'll have the pacing right to get into that final tonight. While still going well at the top in lane 6, China still with that big leg kick though. Probably a 6-beat leg kick that he's got going on there at the moment. His feet come quite high out of the water. He goes round the wall well though, up at the 5-meter mark and back into his stroke. Menes is now going over 4:17.89 and 4:21.41 for Tomita. So D'Souza over for Brazil, 4:29.52. So they're quite spaced out here.
Yeah, Hua Dongdong is going to come into the finish now. It's going to be a decent time for the Chinese swimmer. Into the wall, 4:43.81 for him. So improvement on the entry time, 5:04. Meneses in second, 4:53 for him. Third, Tomita, 4:58. They will make the final, those top 3. So 5 in the second heat. Souza with 5:09. Well, might be enough to make the final for Matheus Souza, but we'll have to wait on that second heat. Tomita looked relaxed there, 4:58. We know that these swimmers, Les, when Hua Dongdong winning in at 4:43, going to be looking at somewhere around about the 4:30 kind of mark we're going to see tonight from these swimmers.
Yeah, it can get very, very competitive in this one. Hua did look good this morning. Left, right from the off. Thought he might be using that sprint speed to just get out, and then after what we see is then the pace slow, but nobody reeled him back in. He did have it all his own way in this heat this morning.
Goggles being checked. There's Tomita. Hua Dongdong. Again, not a newcomer to the Chinese team. He's been around for a couple of years. He's not one of the old-timers in the team, just 23 years of age. But he came in the team 2019, immediately started winning medals, and that quite often happens for some countries. Chinese especially, we don't see them much over maybe a couple of years. Then in the year leading up to the Paralympics, we have some new swimmers appearing, and that's kind of what's happened this year with a few. That last Paralympic cycle was what happened with Hua Dongdong.
Yeah, they have a lot of domestic competition. Obviously, China's big, so they can stay within the country and train and race each other regularly. travelling isn't so much on their agenda, but when they do come, they always perform very well.
And well done, Dawn, performed well this morning. Marco Meneses in second, Duccio Demita in third. Matthias de Souza, 5:09.36. You wait for this next heat. See if he's going to make it to the final tonight. So, next heat coming out. Dutch fans will be supporting their man, Roger Dorsman, who goes in the middle lane. In fact, just 4 swimmers in this second. We've lost another swimmer, Liz, so
I don't think Daniel Chuvarov has recovered from that bump on the hand.
Well, that means these 4 are guaranteed, so if the swimmers in the call room are aware of that, then that's maybe why we saw those swimmers relaxing in that first heat. We know they're guaranteed that place in the final if they can negotiate their way through this heat. But yeah, Roger Dorsman, he goes in lane number 4. Mikhailo Serbin in 5. Great swim he had in the backstroke yesterday to take the gold. The young swimmer from Czech Republic is David Kratochvil. He goes in lane number 3, 15-year-old. The oldest man in the field, Sergio Zayas from Argentina. And Zayas in his 8th World Championship, I think, one of these veterans for the Argentinian team. But yeah, we saw Chufarov, who's had an excellent event so far this week. 3 gold medals to his name, 2 world records. He appeared on the medal podium with a bandage or a splint almost on his wrist. And we haven't seen him since, so we hope everything's okay. But it doesn't look like Chufarov is going to take any more part in this competition, this World Championships this week.
No, it does mean that these athletes can, as you said, Paul, sort of cruise these heats. Assuming they don't do anything that would get them disqualified, they will all progress to the final this evening. Roger Dorsman will turn first. 105.75 for the Dutchman. Mikhailo Serbin, fresh off that world record in the 100 metres backstroke last night over second, 107.82. And Kratochvil, who just missed out on a medal in that race that Serbin won, turned third, 109.20, with Sergio Zayas 114.02.
Yeah, Roger Dorsman got a great record in this one, twice a world champion, 2019, 2022. So Paralympic champion as well. It's a very long-standing world record. Stood since 1992, John Morgan. Set in the Barcelona Paralympics. That stood the test of time, that one.
It has. It is rapid. 420.83. Dorsman, he has got his sights set on it, hasn't he? He's spoken to us about it before. He's working his way towards it. His championship record from 2019 for 28.64. As Dorsman goes over at the halfway point in a split of 2:17.42. Kratochvil now into second, 2:22.28. With Serbin 2:23.36. Zayas has just gone over through that midpoint mark, 2:33.44. He swims down in lane 2 for Argentina. But at the front of the race, Dorsman's just going through the shot. He's going into the red zone at the other end of the pool to go over at the 250 turn, 2:53.92. Kratochvil 2:58.35, 7:301.93.
David Kratochvil has had a good week, really stepping up with the senior swimmers here. Like we said the other day at the World Para Series in Berlin, they have junior titles. And last year, the 2022 meet, David Kratochvil was winning almost all of these junior titles. It's multi-classification as well, so all the classifications are kind of gauged on how close they are to the world record mark for their particular classification. So it's quite tough to win the senior and junior titles. You're competing against swimmers in all different classifications, but Crutchfield was a winner of many junior titles, so that's a good indication of the quality of the young swimmer from the Czech Republic. He's right next to the top senior in this particular event at the moment, Roger Dorsman. They come up to the final turn. Dorsman 4:06.95. Crutchfield picking up there the pace, 4:08.48. Dorsman again getting out of that turn really quickly, and you just see the advantage he got over Crutchfield when he hit the wall there, coming out of the wall. But Crutchfield's going past them, working hard. David Crutchfield is overtaking Roger Dorsman, who just cruises in. But Crutchfield with a very good finish. The 15-year-old, 4:40.34 for him. Dorsman in second position, 4:42.82, but eased into that wall, Roger Dorsman. Mikhailo Serbin into the wall now in 4:54.46. And Sergio Zayas has got about 15 metres to go. But another good performance there from David Crutchfield as Zayas comes in to the closing stages now. 5:14 is entry time, and he touches in a 5:15.10.
Well, they swam that race very differently, didn't they? Dorsman took it out not quickly, very comfortably, but this is the last 25 metres where we see Crutchfield obviously feeling good, wanted to take the heat. He finished fast as he went past Dorsman there. 4:45, Crutchfield's best time before this, so an excellent heat swim for the Czech swimmer. He's having a good week in terms of how he's performing, just missing out on the medal so far, but he'll hope that he can back that up tonight. As we watch Mikhailo Serbin exit the water, goggles being checked there for Roger Dorsman.
Yeah, this Serbin, a great backstroke he had last night. He'll be faster in the final. World Championship silver medalist last year, behind Roger Dorsman. Serbin, great competitor really, Serbin. It's a very competitive class, this one. Crutchfield will lead the way. Roger Dorsman in second, Mikhailo Serbin in third. 4:40.34 for the young Czech swimmer. I think that's the two fastest times we've seen from the two heats. In that one, Crutchfield will be in the centre lane for the final. Dorsman in second. Badon looked good in the first heat, as did Marco Meneses. Serbin will go faster, as will Tomita, I am sure. Crutchfield right on the 4:40 mark. There's one of the young GB swimmers, Iona Winifred again. We were saying the other day, she won a prize, some VIP tickets to be here at the Junior Championships a month or so ago. Here's the German fans. Been a quiet morning for the Germans so far, but they've had their success this week.
They have, and also in this classification group, the Canadians have had some good success as well. These women's S7s events. 100 metres freestyle just coming up now, fresh off the 50 metre freestyle last night.
Yeah, Sabrina Duches from Canada in lane number 5. Sarah Vargas Blanco, winner of the 50. She goes in lane number 4. Lara Ortiz Campos from Spain in 3. And Nicola Sinclair Maitland from Sweden goes in lane number 6. Sinclair Maitland and Ortiz Campo will go from the sit start. Vargas Blanco and Duchesne will go from the dive.
Well, Vargas Blanco had an excellent 50 last night. She held off the challenges in the final stages to take the victory. She's going well for Columbia just through that first 25 metres. Sabrina Duchesne of Canada just in second at the moment in 5. Orti Campos going well, as is St. Clair Maitland. There's not much to choose from any of these, but it is Vargas Blanco that goes over first. 35.25 from Duchesne, 36.73. Orti Campos, 37.26, and then St. Clair Maitland just dropping back slightly, 38.05. But it will be Vargas Blanco that leads them through the 75-metre mark.
Yeah, she's looking good here. She's going to qualify for this final. 5 swimmers in the second heat. So 3 swimmers who will hit the wall first in this one will qualify here. Vargas Blanco swim in that 50 to take the title yesterday. She will get in first place. 1:13.50 for her. It's faster than she has been this year. 1:13.79 previously. Sabrina Duchesne again will be in that final. And Ortiz Campos from Spain will be the 3rd swimmer home. Nicholas St. Clair Maitland have to wait for the next heat. 1:22.25 for the Swede. But again, good swim from Sarah Vargas Blanco. Looked pretty relaxed, but it was a good time.
Yeah, she's still very young, just 16 years old, Vargas Blanco. She swam in the S6 classification group last year. Did well there, now swimming in the S7 category. And a great Pan American Games in Lima. That's really where she got her first taste of the international racing scene. She's going out here. She's got a good chance of winning tonight. Backing up that 53 to do the sprint double.
Yeah, she's looking in good shape. Sarah Vargas Blanco looking relaxed and a good time. 1:13.50. Sabrina Duchesne in second for Canada. She'll be in that final. Later, Ortiz Campos will be there as well. Nicholas St. Clair Maitland in danger of missing out, but 1 heat to come. She might make it. There's Veronika Korsova. 2 from the USA in this one. 1 from Canada, 1 from Ukraine, and 1 from Japan. There's Morgan Stickney, Julia Gaffney going in lane number 5. And Nashida in 2. Tess Rootleaf has been on great form, the Canadian. She goes in lane number 3. 2 gold medals to her name, the breaststroke and the individual medley. Gaffney in lane number 5. The American next to her teammate Stickney. There's Korsova. Well, this event, Liz, has been the domain of the Americans over the years.
It has, and they got some tough domestic competition. I was going to say, we haven't really seen much of Morgan Stickney since that world record performance in the 400 metres freestyle earlier in the week. She's just putting up now alongside Julia Gaffney, but the domestic competition in the USA is strong in this one. Championship record holder Mallory Wegerman not here, having given birth to her daughter Charlotte earlier in the year, and then Mackenzie Cohn also not at these championships due to illness. She's second on the world rankings. So the Americans very strong in this one, and Morgan Stickney going very well down through the 75 metre mark. She leads the way.
Yeah, she's looking very strong. Morgan Stickney here. Juliet Gaffney just being challenged by Korsova and also Rootleaf, but it is going to be Morgan Stickney going to be into the wall first, and this is going to be the fastest time we've seen. 1:10.84, and Korsova in second, just ahead of Gaffney. Tess Rootleaf in 4th position in the 1:16. So these 4 swimmers should make it into the final, I think. And Nashida in 5th position. I just miss out there in that final, but Stickney will make it into that final, trying to continue that good run for the Americans. The last 7 World Championships have been won by the Americans.
That is a strong stat. And Morgan Stickney looks good. She's gone to the top of the world rankings there. Giulia Terzi of Italy, also not here due to injury, was occupying that #1 spot. She'll be back for Paris as well. So it's a bit of a depleted field, but the performances here are strong, and #1 in the world. Excellent swim there from Morgan Stickney. Here is that battle for second and third between Korsova, who's been a great find for the Ukrainian team, and Julia Gaffney of America.
Yeah, Morgan Stickney takes that one, trying to win another gold medal here. Wonder if we are going to be in for another fast time, maybe another record time tonight for Morgan Stickney. A couple seconds outside the championship record. Sara Vargas Blanco, they might challenge the dominance of the Americans in this one. She goes into the final in second. As we go into the men's event, 100 freestyle S7. There's Federico Picelli, he goes in the middle lane. Young Ukrainian next to him, Yuri Senhur in lane number 3. 2 from Argentina, Nicolas Poggi and Inaki Basalov, and Ernie Galwan from Philippines goes in lane number 6. So Picelli, another swimmer who is top of the world rankings this year, the Italian. Italy having a great world championships here. Picelli, well, he won the gold in the 400 freestyle earlier in the week, looked really strong in that one. Again, it's a long-standing world record, which has stood since 2008. Which Picelli was telling me he had his eyes on a couple of years ago, but this event is not one of the events that's going to be held in Paris, so the focus of the likes of Picelli has been the 400 freestyle rather than this 100. So Picelli in the blue cap. Senhur going off to a blistering start here, the young Ukrainian.
Yeah, is Yuri Senhur down in lane number 3 that leads the way. That's the battle we were watching there for second and third between Picelli and Basilov. But it is Senhur that goes over first, 30.50 ahead of Basilov, just getting his feet to the wall second, with Picelli in third position. Senhur now getting caught by Basilov. Still got the lead through 75 meters, the young Ukrainian, but it's all evening out for those front 3.
Yeah, Picelli coming through now, just getting ahead of Senhur in the closing stages of this one. Ukrainian certainly got the speed. Picelli, good technique for the Italian just to ease through into first position there. Senhur in second, Basilov coming through in third. Should be fairly easy qualification for those 3. There's Galawan in 4th and Poggi in 5th. But Picelli looking good there, front of the field. I expect him to go faster in the final. Very easy out on that first 50, wasn't he?
He was. Senhur started all his heats and finals like that. He's gone quick down the early stages. Been on the podium this week, the Ukrainian swimmer. But it was just Picelli. Finished strongly, showing some of that 400 meters freestyle endurance to come through strongly at the end.
So Picelli will be stronger in the final, I'm sure. Senhur, good swim again from the young Ukrainian. Basilov as well, shown some good form here this week. Gavalan, swimmers coming out for the second heat. And we've probably got the informed swimmer of these championships in this class. Look at that tall figure there of Andrei Trusov. Here he comes. Again, quite a contrast of impairments here in this S7 classification, aren't there?
Yeah, it's a very diverse classification group. Classification system works on that functional ability of the athletes in the water. Carlos Serrano Zarate back in for Colombia. He's an athlete of short stature. Trusov has an impairment to impact his lower legs predominantly. He is a very tall figure, Andrei Trusov. And he's shown some great strength and power in the closing stages of races this week.
Yes, Serrano Zarate and Trusov have a great battle in the 50 freestyle yesterday. Win going to Trusov, but it was a good time from Serrano Zarate. He's got a busy program this morning. He's got a busy program to the end of the week. 50 freestyle last night, Breaststroke this morning, 100 freestyle as well for Serrano Zarate.
Yeah, his breaststroke got combined with those SB8s as we spoke about earlier, which meant that move today for him from, it would have been midpoint of the week, but going over first is To Wee Song. He's had a good first 50 there. Trusov was second with Serrano Zarate in third, and the third Argentinian in this event, Aragui, turned fourth, 36.06.
Yeah, To has been a medalist at Commonwealth Games in the sprint events. He's looking to try and make it to another world final. Trusov is the man who's stronger, 104.10 for him. Quite a similar swim really to the one that we saw from Bichelli earlier. 104.04 for Bichelli, 104.10 for Trusov. And To Wee Sung in second, 104.99. Carlos Serrano Zarate just taking it easy. He's got a busy program this morning. 108.24. He will go faster tonight. I think there'll be a few swimmers tonight. We can see significant improvements from these heat times, Liz.
Yeah, a lot of athletes taking it comfortably and controlled this morning, because a lot of them have got the relay at the end of the session as well, or at least tonight. There's a lot of doubling up today for swimmers, and it is day 7 of the program. For some people it's day 1 of a one-day meet, as we've talked about, but for some it's the last day of a long week.
Trusov takes it. To Wee Sung in second, Serrano Zarate in third, but Bichelli leads the way into the final ahead of Trusov and To Wee Sung. 104.04 fastest time into the final. I think that will be edging towards the 1 minute mark as we see these finalists tonight. See if that long-standing world record stood since 2008 can be challenged tonight. So 200 freestyle coming out for the men in the S4 classification as Trusov goes off the deck. Again, looks like we've had some withdrawals in this one as well, Liz. There's only 3 in the first heat and 4 in the second heat. Well, again, every swimmer guaranteed a place in the final, Liz. So in this situation, you know, you're guaranteed a place in the final. I think it's beneficial to... Would you have wanted to swim the heat, or would you have just thought, you know, it would have benefited you to just go straight to final?
I think it depends on the athlete. I mean, a lot of athletes that have had direct finals this week will go in the morning anyway and either do a race simulation for full heat or at least some pace, some race pace. So it can be beneficial to come in and do something. It's just then how you go about swimming the heat, because there's a difference between doing pace swimming in a warm-up, in a training session, and then coming in and doing your heat, because if you think, oh, I'll go easy, but if you go too easy, especially for a lot of swimmers in certain classifications with certain disability types, like I know when I went too slow, my body position would change and drop, and then it would be a completely different stroke. So a lot of these athletes don't have the ability to stretch out loads and then kick, because they don't have the function in their legs or the legs themselves to sort of balance that stroke. Because a lot of the time in freestyle events, people do control their pace by their stroke length, but driving it from the leg kick.
Yeah, Andres Ehrenhofer, for example, just on the top of those three, paraplegic swimmer, and you know his legs are gonna sink. You know, he's really kind of toiling all the time, working really hard to try and keep his body level in the water, trying to stop those legs from sinking, slowing him down.
Yeah, and then it becomes a bit of an anchor, whereas for Leslie and Sanchez Martinez, they don't have the legs to be able to balance that stroke. So if they glide too much at the front of the stroke, they'd end up just stopping. So there's a lot to consider, which is why sometimes in paraswim you don't see too much differentiation between heat and final swim speeds.
Leslie going through the halfway mark, 1:30.26 for the New Zealander. There's an entry time of 2:59, so he's pretty much on course for that. 1:30 at the halfway stage. Probably going to be in the low 3 minutes. He continues with this pace, but Cameron Leslie, ready to go, medalist in the backstroke. He's taking a couple of silver medals behind Dadan, the world record holder from Israel in the 50 and the 100 freestyle. So Cameron Leslie, he's looked in good shape here this week. He's just been followed by Sanchez Martinez. Gustavo Sanchez Martinez, again, one of these experienced members of the Mexican team who had a great Paralympic Games in London in 2012. He won gold in the 100 and in the 200 freestyle. And he's been there or thereabouts since, but he hasn't quite recaptured the heroics he did in London in 2012.
No, but again, the Mexican team have got such depth in the lower class categories specifically, and we can see people coming through all the time, but then the older, more experienced athletes still performing, and we can tell Sanchez Martinez swims very similarly to Leslie, and the way that they slow their stroke down is less by stroke length and more by the speed at which they rotate their arms. So they're just rotating their arms at a slower speed than we would expect to see in the final tonight.
They're coming home in front. Leslie will take the touch in 3:10.05. Sanchez Martinez 3:12.48. Ehrenhofer just coming in now to the last 5. Here he comes, the Austrian. 3:25 for Ehrenhofer. That's a good time for him, actually. Faster than he's gone this year. So Cameron Leslie takes that one ahead of Gustavo Sanchez Martinez. Austria taking their first medal last night. Sabina Weber-Treiber taking that one in the 50. Ehrenhofer has been on the medal podium before. Austrians have got quite a small team, but they always seem to pick up something at the major championships. I think maybe just 3 or 4 swimmers in the Austrian team regularly.
Yeah, they got a busy day today though. Anders O'Neill went earlier in the session. Ehrenhofer just getting through that one there.
Yeah, he's pleased with that one. Better known as a breaststroker, individual medley swimmer, Ehrenhofer. But good freestyle there from him, good freestyle from Sanchez Martinez, and Leslie at the front of the field. They looked relaxed and they will go into that final. So 4 swimmers in this one. Again, not many swimmers in this heat, Liz, but high quality swimmers, the ones that are in it. are the ones that you would have expected to be at the front of the field anyway, even if it was a bigger field.
Yeah, definitely, and that sets us up for great racing. We've seen some great racing in this classification group this week. Hamil Medadon there in shot for Israel. Very much the in-form swimmer. He's had an excellent week here in Manchester.
Beggiato. There's Camacho Ramirez, looking relaxed.
Well, he was smiling and dancing before one of his heats the other day, so...
He's a relative newcomer to the Mexican team by their standards. He's been around for a couple of years now, just made it into the team just prior to the Paralympics in Tokyo. So the worst start of the four was the world record holder, Dadon. As we said the other day, if he gets his start right, the other swimmers in the race are in trouble, because the start was maybe just a little bit of almost the only weakness that Dadon has got.
Yeah, and actually it is. He starts in the water and he doesn't get anything from his legs off that wall. So that's where the other swimmers their advantage is. And we saw the 50 the other day. He just got the start perfectly right, and then from there, no one really stood a chance of catching him, because when he's swimming well and he's got that high stroke rate, again, you can't slow it down too much because of the body position, because of the leg drag. So when he gets that high turnover and doesn't slip any water, he's just so powerful, and he moves away from the field. And he's in great shape here this week. Things have gone his way. We sometimes see for athletes, you can just be on the wrong end of a few touches, and if it happens a few times, it just looks like your week was a bad one. And then you get other weeks where it all goes well, and you look like you've had a superb week. And Dadon is in that position this week. Everything has gone exactly how he would have wanted it to.
Yeah, and his turn is very interesting, isn't it? He doesn't actually touch with his hand. A number of swimmers who don't do the tumble turns touch with the hand, as you see there from Beggiato. Touch with the hand, spin the body round. Doesn't touch with the hand, but he turns his body around kind of mid-water and touches with the legs, pushes off.
Yeah, and I think that's where the complication from his start comes, because he does where he seems to have the most difficulty is he's holding on, and then he uses that hand to push up and get off, and he finds it difficult to get away. Whereas this obviously is a technique for him that is, because it's about the speed of the rotation at the wall. That's what's important on a turn. And actually sometimes if you touch, then have to bring your legs round and through, it can slow you down. Whereas he sort of, watch this now, he'll sort of bend, and then his feet go on the wall, and then he pushes off, so he's slowing that down. Whereas if he was to touch and then try and do that bend, he would lose that momentum, which is essentially what Beggiato does. But Beggiato does it very well, and it works for him. And you have got to figure out what works best for you, because none of these swimmers in any of the para swimming program are textbook. That's why they're here, right? And so you have to. It is all about developing your own techniques that are most effective for what you've got available.
Yeah, and we've seen that at the major championships before. Someone comes up with an innovative technique, and you see others following suit. But Dadon there, 2:58.34, the world record holder and the championship record holder, of course, from last year. Front of Camacho Ramirez and Beggiato. Very close finish between those two. Camacho Ramirez getting that touch, 3:10.25. But as you said earlier, all these swimmers will make it into the final. Ariel Malyar, another one of the siblings that are competing here at these championships. You saw Mark Malyar win a medal yesterday in the 200 metres individual medley. So twin brother Ariel Malyar going in 3:32 for Malyar. But Dadon said not getting away too well, but once he gets into his stroke, he is absolutely phenomenal. There's that turn again.
once he's around the turn, he does actually get a really good push off the wall. But it's about how he gets his feet into that position where he's able to. And if he did that more traditional touch and tuck, it would be very slow.
It's almost a tumble turn without the tumble, really.
Absolutely.
Dadon takes it, 2:58.34. Camacho Ramirez in second, just ahead of Biggiato. They'll all make it through to the final with those withdrawals this morning. Dadon, Leslie, Camacho Ramirez, Biggiato, Sanchez Martinez, they will be faster in the final. It's a good time from Ehrenhofer. And Malyar in 7th position. So 200 metres individual medley. Again, we've got the withdrawal. I think the week's taken its toll, Liz.
Yeah, I think people have decided. Some people have got finals. Some people have got injured. Like it's a big week. I think. Like you just get to the point where I think people enter based on how they think they're going to feel, and a lot of these athletes have more than one strong event. And so as the week progresses, they're like, actually, no, it's my stroke's not there for that event. I mean, this is 200 agility medley, so as soon as your breaststrokes, if something involving breaststroke isn't ready, you're better off pulling out because it's so different to all the other strokes.
Two Spanish, though, take the start for this one. Ariadna Edo Beltran in 2, Marian Polo Lopez in 6, and in the middle, Carlotta Gili from Italy. She goes in lane number 4. The world record holder Carlotta Gili in the SM13 classification, and Roisin Nareen from Ireland. What a swim she had in the backstroke to take the gold, just ahead of Gili earlier this week. Gili first to the wall, 29.88. So 4 in this one, as you can see, and 6 in the next heat due to take the start. So just losing 2 swimmers now to progress to the final.
Well, we're on to the backstroke, and it's the backstroke is one of the tightest races of the week in this category, as you said, Paul. Nareen getting the touch for gold. That was very, very close between her, Gili, and Dedekind, who is the swimmer that has withdrawn from this one. And it will be Gili that goes over first, 107.16. Then Nareen for Ireland. Again, the Ireland, a small team. Got a busy morning here though. It's the 3rd Irish swimmer that we've seen.
Yeah, and one more to come as well. Nicole Turner coming a little bit later on as well. Her big event this morning. In fact, it's tonight, isn't it? It's a straight final for Nicole Turner tonight. And but a big event in the 50 metres butterfly. Carlotta Gili is away at the front of the field. Again, talk about these swimmers who have had good championships, but Carlotta Gili did not have it all her own way last year. She didn't perform well to her very high standards at the World Championships last year, but this year she has been awesome.
Yeah, she's back. And I think, again, like you said, sometimes it's about the times, sometimes it's about the medals, and sometimes it's like the both you don't feel like you've performed when you assess both. And Gili did look disappointed at the end of the World Championships last year. She had a very successful meet by many people's standards, but by her standards, not so much. But she's definitely back with a vengeance here. And she's going to take out this heat this morning.
Yeah, 230.27. Roisin Nareen in 3rd place. Polo Lopez in 4th. So Roisin Nareen 233.01. Polo Lopez 236.34 ahead of Edo Beltran 241. But Carlotta Gili, very strong in all the strokes really. Maybe breaststroke's the one might just be the chink in the armour of Carlotta Gili. But really strong butterfly swimmer. great freestyler as well, and backstroke, as we saw, almost took the gold in the backstroke, just pipped by the Irish swimmer there. Coming in lane number 5. A good contest from these two. Carlotta Gili progresses to the final, as will Roisin Mirian. The two Spanish swimmers will have to wait for the second heat to see if they're going to make it.
Wow, the second heat just making their way to poolside. It is a combined event, this one. 3 SM12s go in heat number 2. Only one set of medals available.
Yeah, there are the swimmers. Emma Filio-Martin in 2. Maria Carolina Gomez Santiago goes in 3. What a championship she's had. There's Olivia Chambers. She's had a great World Championships too. She goes in lane number 4. There's the Brazilian Gomez Santiago. The S12 classification. Colleen Young is the reigning champion from the USA. She goes in lane number 5. Alicia Berra, the blue cap of Italy, in 6. And Alani Ferreira, the African record holder, she goes in lane number 7. She's been on good form this week, breaking African records. But Olivia Chambers, the newcomer to the US team, has a handful of medals to her name. Silver medal last night in the 400 freestyle. Also bronze medals to her name this week. First to the wall though is Gomez Santiago, 32.00 for the Brazilian, one of the top performers at these championships.
Yeah, this is the second event in 2 days where Chambers has come in as the fastest in the world. She's top of the rankings in this one, even when you combine the 12s and the 13s. So she'll fancy her chances again, but she'll be pushed all the way. She had a good 400 meters freestyle last night to take that silver. Again, Carlotta Gili in excellent form to take the gold. Chambers now, after the backstroke, leading the way, 1:10.59 to Gomez Santiago's 1:11.71, with Berra of Italy 1:15.38 in lane 6, just ahead of Colleen Young. Colleen Young does have a great breaststroke. Chambers still going well. At the front, she goes through the midpoint mark of the breaststroke leg. She is leading Gomez Santiago by about a body length. Colleen Young now moved into 3rd position in this heat. Silver medalist in the individual breaststroke earlier this week.
Yeah, Chambers going into the wall first. A lead of about 1.5 seconds of Gomez Santiago. So interesting, Gomez Santiago, very good sprinter. And Chambers is all taking medals in the freestyle events as well in the S13 classification. Gomez Santiago taking gold medals in the freestyle events in the S12 classification. So the S12 and S13 swimmers side by side here, and they are gonna come into the wall absolutely together. A couple of good swims here, making sure of their place in the final. Chambers gets in ahead of Gomez Santiago, and Colleen Young, the reigning champion, she goes in lane number 5, 2:37.40, ahead of Alicia Berra, 2:42. These 4 swimmers should make it into the final. Gomez Santiago, I think 7 medals to her name already at these championships. Chambers has picked up bronze and silver medal last night, but can it be a gold tonight for Olivia Chambers?
Well, she gets off the block very well indeed. She's got some good race skills. And again, we saw Colleen Young, who came back strongly in that second 100. Chambers, a strong heat performance from her there. So she will be battling out from the middle with Carlotta Gili. Santiago Gomez had to hold on last night in that relay anchor leg. So expect her to try and go quicker tonight.
African record for Alani Ferreira. Not sure if it's going to be good enough to make the final though. Chile will be fastest into that final. Chambers, Gomez, Santiago, Narin, Paulo Lopez, Young, Edo Beltran and Berra. I expect that one to be a little bit faster tonight. Carlota Gili qualifying fastest there, 2:30.27, but there's going to be about maybe 6 or 7 swimmers capable of dipping under that 2:30 mark tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Medley's always exciting as we move on to the men's event. So much opportunity for the lead to change hands.
Yeah, we like the medley. It's the very last 200 metres individual medley of these championships, the only individual medley events for the finals tonight. 2 Germans in 2 and 3, 16-year-old Hebmüller and Talaso Engel, breaststroke champion. 2 Ukrainians in the middle. That was Garashenko in lane number 4. And Verchenko in lane number 5. Genki Saito from Japan in 6. And 19-year-old Alex Villarreal Martin goes in lane number 7. So in this SM13 classification, we have 6 swimmers in the first heat, 7 in the second heat. So only the top 8 from the 2 heats to come. Position could be all important here. And again, we've got some swimmers returning, some of the multi-eventers coming back, but the likes of Talaso Engel of Germany down here in lane number 2, the breaststroke champion, has gone off to a good start in the butterfly as well.
He has had an excellent first 50 there. He turned first, 27.67 ahead of Alexei Verchenko, 28.34, and then just 0.3 behind it was Genki Saito of Japan in lane 6. But now all the swimmers in a line except for Saito. He leads the way by about 3/4 of a body length. He's chased by the 4 swimmers in the lanes down from him. He gets tapped, Saito, as he goes over on a 104.16 from Verchenko, 105.40, and Garashenko 105.44. But watch Engel now in lane 3. The German breaststroke supreme will look to come through. Going well with him though is his teammate Hebmüller, Philipp Hebmüller in lane 2, and still going very well is Saito. He still leads the way for Japan.
Yeah, Saito going really well. He's a finalist in the backstroke at the Paralympic Games in Tokyo. He's doing really well on the breaststroke here as well. Engel, Saito, Hebmüller, the action taking place in the outside lanes. The Ukrainians gonna have to watch their step here in the middle. Garashenko and Verchenko were favoured here to make the final, but with 7 in this second heat, they're gonna have to fight for position here, the Ukrainians. Hebmüller going very well on the outside. Engel is looking good. Saito surprised them all here, the Japanese swimmer. And coming through in the middle, well, it is Garashenko into 3rd place. Oh, he gets into 3rd. Verchenko into 4th, just getting ahead of Hebmüller. But Engel in 2nd and Saito in 1st place. Well, that was a little bit of a surprise there. Ukrainians had to work a little bit harder than they would have liked to get those positions.
Yeah, they have got that in their toolbox though, that ability to turn the burners on down that freestyle leg, and they did need them today because position is important, especially as we say in heat number 1. You can't be too careful.
Wow, it was a good start from Talaso Engel, the German swimmer, going out very strongly. And there he was at the end of the breaststroke. We expected him to get to the front of the field in the breaststroke. That's how it turned out. Genki Saito, great individual medley swim from the Japanese swimmer. Becoming almost together, but the Japanese swimmer getting the touch. Saito. Engel in 2nd, 2 Ukrainians in 3rd and 4th. They were ahead of Hebmüller, but it was a disqualification for the young German, so it's unfortunate for Philipp Hebmüller after such a good swim. Garashenko, I think, should be safe in 3rd place. It would be a shock if Verchenko missed out though.
Well, it'll be a bit of a nervous wait now for Verchenko.
Alex Portal almost taken out there by Thomas van Roy. We went to the wrong lane. Has a little chuckle to himself. Two Portal brothers in this one. What a great swim from 16-year-old Kilian Portal last night to take bronze in that combined 400 freestyle. His brother, of course, taking the gold, Alex Portal. So it was a good day yesterday for the Portal family. There is Alex Portal, the two brothers. Kilian Portal in 1, Alex Portal in 4. Line up for this one, Zumagali in 2. Thomas van Roy goes in 5. Great swim he had in backstroke a few days ago. David Abrahams, breaststroke specialist from the USA. Watch out for him. Muzabekov and Tursunkayev, the Uzbek swimmers, in 6 and 7. Big field this one. The specialists again. The breaststrokers will feature very heavily. Van Roy's got a good record in this event, and Alex Portal is the reigning world champion in this one from last year.
Yeah, Portal going well in lane 4. He'll sort of bookend this one. He'll want to use 3 strong strokes. Breaststroke probably his weakest stroke, as is often the case with medley swimmers. He turned first 27.56 from Van Roy, who was an excellent middle 100 of this 200 meters individual medley. He won the individual backstroke earlier this week. He sat out the breaststroke, but he is a brilliant breaststroker as well. Thomas Van Roy, he's leading the way now, looking strong from lane 5. Going well at the top of the pool, it is Tursunkayev.
Yeah, going into the halfway point now. It's a good start for Van Roy. I've seen him in many events, but had an excellent backstroke to take that title. He's used that to good effect here as he comes away from the field at the front. Portal in second position now, trying to pull up. Breaststrokers now coming to the fore. David Abrahams from the USA getting himself back in contention. He's a bronze medalist behind Teliso Engel and Zumagali, who's going well up there and down in lane number 2 actually. The Kazakhstan swimmer Zumagali coming back into 4th position now, but in the lead at the turn it is Van Roy.
Yeah, Van Roy goes into that freestyle leg with about a body length lead over Alex Portal of France and David Abrahams, who had a superb breaststroke leg, as we knew he would, to bring himself into contention. And it's now these 3 at the front of the field, just concertining up together, but Portal continuing to move through, and now he heads the 3 in the centre lanes.
Yeah, very relaxed swim there from Portal, just gets ahead of Abrahams. Van Roy will be safely into the final. Big battle for 4th here, and it's just won by Zumagali, but I don't think that's going to be good enough. 220.60 for Zumagali. 3 in the middle will be safe. Portal, Van Roy, Abrahams. But I think Zumagali might just miss out on that one. Well, Verchenko in 4th place in the previous heat, Garashenko 3rd. They should make it, I think, but only just.
Well, we did say it was loaded, this event. We've seen some of these, a lot of events have only had 2 heats, or even some gone direct to finals, but the quality of the field that are present here in Manchester has been top draw, and so it does mean that you can't hang about. And we've seen some people, some favourites, not make it through to the final.
Alex Portal will be the favourite, I think, for this title, to try and retain the title he won last year. He looked good there. Oh, it's bad news for his brother though. Kilian Portal has been disqualified, so disqualification in the 1st heat, disqualification in the 2nd from the 2 young teenagers. But the Portal family will have Alex in the final, and well, was what, 6 from that first, 5 from the first heat, making it in, 3 from the second. And Verchenko, Garashenko, they will make it. Verchenko in an outside lane, but we need to watch out for him because he will be a threat in that final. Cutting it fine, Liz, but he's there.
He is, and you know what they say, Paul?
I do know.
He's got a lane.
You've got a chance. Here's the S5s for the women. It's again 7 in this first heat, 7 in the second. It's not going to be easy qualification. Maybe some of the big names in the centre lanes. Boggioni will be one of the favourites for this one. Silver medalist last year at these World Championships. Here's a Japanese swimmer. We've seen her in a few events this week. It's Maori Yui. Again, the S5 classifications, S1 to S10 for those with physical impairments. So the S5 right in the middle of the classification range. We could start from Ludong. Ludong swimmer used to swim in the S6 classification. Ludong, we used to see her swim excellent 200 meters individual medley and maybe the first 3 legs of the 200 IM, and just getting caught very often in the freestyle leg when she swam in S6.
Yeah, and again, for these swimmers with no arms in a medley, they typically then have to swim a different stroke on that last length than they would have swum through the other 3. So in this, we can see that she's doing backstroke as her freestyle. We often see that in some of the lower classifications groups as well. But it means that when you get onto a medley, you can't use the stroke that you've already used in the 3 other legs when you get to the freestyle. So you just have to do that alternating front crawl kick, and it was what made the difference. But she starts well, she gets well, goes well off the dives and the turns. But Monica Boggioni has the advantage in the swim speed when she's up and into that stroke. You can see her there propelling herself with the use of those arms as we come into the finish.
Good time for Boggioni.
It's a very good time for Boggioni. She's having a great meet here.
Yeah, Kupalova, medalist yesterday, and there's Ludong. She should be into that final. Of course, changing classifications now. The Ludong and the others moving down to the S5s. A little bit of a difference in the kind of makeup of this S5. Made it force people to kind of be specialists, haven't they?
Yeah, so the parameters of the category has changed, and so those athletes like Ludong that you can see there are very good on the sprint events because they do have that advantage off the dive, using that 15 meters underwater effectively, because the fastest way to travel through water is under it, like that. And so on the 50s, we've seen a huge dominance from those athletes, but then over the distance events, that's where we see some of the other athletes with different impairments come through strongly.
Good swim there from Boggioni. And Kupalova in second with Ludong in third. They should make the final, I think. But with 7 swimmers coming to the end. Mauri Yui, Estefani Rodriguez. We saw her up visiting us the other day, Estefani Rodriguez.
She was. We've had a lot of visitors in this comms box this week. You've probably heard some of them in the background.
Yeah, probably. We haven't seen Alex Portel's granddad today. Have you?
No, I haven't actually. He is.
I should see Alex and Killian Portel. Now they are both world medalists.
Well, he was their granddad before as well. So I can see that. I'm looking. I'm trying to look over at the crowd. I can't see the sparkly French hats. I think that's his mum wearing a sparkly French hat.
Home interest in this one. Susanna Hext in lane number 4. What a good swim she had day, number 1. There's the French supporters.
They make some very easy
There he is,
spots.
on the right-hand side. Alex Portel's granddad. Killian Portel's granddad. There he is. He's a regular visitor.
He's been here every day.
He has. I'm disappointed not to have seen him visiting us today. Maybe he'll have a word going out. Susanna Hext. Seems like a long time ago when she won that 50 freestyle.
Yeah, it is.
Day 1.
The programme for these S5 freestylers was a bit spread out. The 50 was early on, 200 was yesterday, 100 today. Hex pulled out of that 200 metres just to manage her energy levels, her health. And you can see with that start, she does look down to the light. She is hearing impaired, and she's deaf. She actually has now, since been able to swim for the first time at this competition with her waterproof cochlear implant since the rule changes have come into swimming. And she said it's made such a difference, but also a bit of a weird adjustment actually being able to hear the crowd and the surroundings. And she's going very well down this first 50. We know she's got the speed. She came through well in that sprint freestyle.
Yeah, she was pressed by Irina Poida, who goes in lane number 5. Poida in 2nd place. It is Guerrero Martinez in 3rd position. Guerrero Martinez, another one of these young swimmers, just 13 years of age, who has made a couple of finals here. It's the long stroke of Susanna Hex. And Poida as well, coming back strongly. Poida just behind Susanna Hex. That's how they finished in the 50. Poida closing up now, but Hex going well. Hex medalist in the World Championships back in 2019 in the 50. She get the medal here in the 100. Bronze medalist in this one, 2019. So she's looking to follow that up and go 1 or even 2 better. 123.74. Pretty much on a par with Poggioni. Poida in 2nd place in that heat. And it was a fast finish from the 13-year-old Guerrero Martinez.
Well, Guerrero Martinez has been starting very quickly. She's had great first 50 metres in all of her events this week. She led at the turn of the 200 metres after 50 metres. But both Hext there on the left, the winner of this heat, and Poggioni, the winner of the previous heat, have got extra time that they could drop into the final. Comfortable heat swim for both of these athletes.
Yeah, Susanna Hex looking in very good form. And you said, Liz, she's had her problems at the major competition. Susanna Hex, health problems, but she's come here and she's performed really well in her 2 major events so far. So winner of the 50, can she add the 100 to that one? She will go in 1st position. Poggioni will be in 2nd place moving into that final. The young Guerrero Martinez, Poida will be there. Kupilova trying to add another medal to the one she won in the 200. And 3 Chinese swimmers as well. Lu Dong, Yao and Hei. S5 for the men. In 100 metres freestyle. So again, we'll see some swimmers returning. We've seen earlier in the week, some we've seen throughout the week, including that man, Anthony Ponce-Bertrand. Changafum, Lergios, Ponce-Bertrand, Drapkin, Renata and Komarov. Ponce-Bertrand, he's had a heavy programme, a Spanish swimmer, but he's kind of come to the fore in the last 2 or 3 days. It's relatively quiet over the first couple of days of competition, but he's had a busy last few days. The Spaniard is Andrei Drapkin. He had a busy start to the week. I haven't seen much of him in recent days, so almost the opposite, these two. Almost been mutually exclusive. this week. Busy start from Drapkin and a busy middle of the week for Ponce Bertrand.
Well, Drapkin showed good speed in the events earlier this week down the first 50. You can see it going well there at the top of the pool. It is Hinata of Japan. We talked about the athletes with the limb difference in their upper arms getting a good start. That's exactly what happened. Going well right at the top, Alexander Komarov. He's been on the podium this week for the Ukraine and he leads the way through the 50. Didn't have an entry time for this one, hence why he is in an outside lane, but he turns first, 33.72 from Drapkin, with Ponce Bertrand, who always finishes strongly, swimming in the centre lane for Spain, turning third and now coming through into second with 25 metres to go.
Yeah, Komarov was in the Ukrainian relay team that was on the medal podium earlier this week. Swimming the S6 classification, now swimming in the S5s, and he's going to be a threat. He's a man who's been at the major championships before, taking medals at World and Paralympic Games. And Komarov, 111.28 for him. It's a relaxed swim goal for Ponce Bertrand in second place, 113.45. Just outside his best time of the year by a second or so. And Drapkin in third place. Good time from Drapkin as well, 1:15.33. So Ukraine 1 and 3. Ponce Bertrand in second place for Spain. Hinata had a good start, but just faded to fourth position there. Held on to that fourth position, you have to say, in the second half of that one. And again, as we saw in a lot of the sprint events, Liz, the swimmers with no arms coming to the fore, but in this first heat, it's the swimmers with the lower limb impairments at the end of this 100 freestyle that have come to the front of the field. Komarov takes that one, Ponce Bertrand in second, Drapkin in third.
Yeah, to your point, Paul, I think this 100 metres is really the meeting of, in the 50s that we were talking about in the women's event, they've been dominated by those athletes with limb difference in their upper limbs because they can use that 15 metres underwater and then they've got the advantage and there's just not enough pool for them to be caught. Where the 200, we see the other way. We'll see Bocciardo coming out now for Italy in lane 4. He won that, like we see. And then this one is the 200 and then the 100 metres is sort of the meeting of those two. Sprint versus distance and who's going to get there. It's very exciting.
Yeah, we have the world champion, Paralympic champion, Francesco Bocciardo in lane number 4. We have two Chinese swimmers in this one, Yuan Wei in lane number 2. You just saw Wang Liqiao in lane 6. Luis Hertapolza, great swim in the 200 yesterday. He goes in lane number 3. He took that bronze medal behind Ponce Bertrand and Bocciardo. So Kafli, who's been a medalist before in 50 freestyle, the Malaysian in lane number 5. We saw Wang Liqiao who goes in 6. Kahil Zayat, the African record holder from Egypt, goes in lane number 7. So Bocciardo goes from the water. Wang Liqiao and Yuan go from the blocks there with Zulkifli. And the Chinese swimmers without arms off to a good start. We don't see Guo Yingchen this time though, the world record breaker in the 50 freestyle. That's maybe a surprise.
It is, yeah, because it's not, he swam an excellent 200 metres individual medley, so he can do the distance, but not in this one. That would have been an interesting head-to-head. But we see leading in lane 6 is Wang Liqiao, and now just coming through to take the second place touch at the turn, it will be Bocciardo. Wang over 35.74, Bocciardo 36.55, and Zulkifli 36.76. Third at the turn, but then off the turn, Yuan down in lane 2 went well. He's on his back doing that butterfly kick that we saw his teammate do in the first heat, but it is now Bocciardo that is at the front.
Yeah, Yeah, Bocciardo with that blue cap, followed by Zulkifli. So Bocciardo, championship record holder in 107.76. He stops the clock at 1:13.51, so just gives you an idea of how relaxed that was for Bocciardo. He will take that one. Zulkifli in second place. Wang Li Chao coming through for third. Yuan Wei Yi in fourth position. Get the confirmed result. Yuan Wei Yi, well, fourth place. Might be enough to get in there with 1:18.46. Just wait for confirmed result of that one to see if he will make it. I think the two Chinese swimmers will make it with that one. But Bocciardo, well, he waited a while this week to hit the top of the podium yesterday. And that 200 freestyle, he's looking to double up now, as he's done quite often in the past, Bocciardo, the 100, 200 freestyle double.
Yeah, very much. The 200 freestyle very much is staying. The 100 meter freestyle, he's probably going to have a little more of a challenge because he won in the end yesterday. He won that 200 meters quite comfortably from Anthony Ponce et Bertrand, but this 100 could be a tighter affair.
I think the top four will all make it into that final. Bocciardo leading the way. Berta Posa might sneak in as well. Komarov will be the fastest into that final. Ponce Bertrand. Bocciardo will have more to give in the final, as will Zulkifli. And Berta Posa does make it in. So 2 Spanish in that final, 2 Chinese, 2 from Ukraine, 1 Italian and 1 from Malaysia. So there's 3 swimmers coming out for their 100 freestyle. Ali van Viksmark, so leading out the 6 swimmers for this one. Again, we have some swimmers in the water. We were in that final, at 200 final, late last night. 2 from Brazil, 2 from Canada in this first heat. So it's S3 classification, but it's a combined event. It's actually S1 through to S3. All S3 swimmers in this one, with the exception of Sulamanova, who goes for Azerbaijan in lane number 7. There's Susanna Shandov in lane number 5. But in 4, Marta Fernandez Infante. Well, she had a very good sprint freestyle. Marta Fernandez Infante take the gold medal ahead of Ellie Chalice and Susanna Shandov, and she's looking good in the early stages here, trying to claim a place in that final.
Yeah, she is the fastest in the world this year, 136.30. She's in heat number 1. Leanne Smith goes seeded quickest in heat 2, the American, who had an excellent world championships in Madeira, but has not been swimming quite the same here at these championships, so the seedings may be a little deceiving, and Fernandez Infante already with a strong lead in this one. She turned first, 45.43. Shodnov will be next at the turn for Brazil. She's had a good week, 2 bronze and a silver in the last 3 days, and then third at the turn it will be the second Brazilian in this one, Maria Pereira Barreto. She's swimming freestyle here. Sometimes we see these athletes in the S3 classification have a range of strokes that they can swim in the freestyle. Marta Fernandez Infante often swims butterfly, not for the 100, but she's strong and she's leading this heat out.
And she is going to come home in first place, 134 for her. Convincing victory there from Marta Fernandez Infante. Follow up on that gold medal that she won in the 50. Susanna Shandov will come home now. And Well, 1:55.92 was her entry time, Susanna Shondorf. So on 1:59. Not too far away, she'll make the final with that time, I think. As the other swimmers coming in to the closing stages now. Pereira Barreta in line number 3. Entry time of 2:08.07. She's going to be outside that, but might be safe enough into the final in this combined event. Kita Enns finishing in 4th position, just ahead of her teammate Ali van Viksmart. And Sulamanova, final swimmer to finish the distance, the S2 swimmer up against the S3s in this one. So Sulamanova making her debut here at these championships. The Azerbaijan swimmer. Azerbaijan, a couple of gold medals.
Yes, more often they have representation in the visually impaired categories. So it's great to see that 18-year-old Sulamanova is in this S2 classification group. She's coming up now. 15 meters to go. This is a combined event.
Sulamanova, that entry time at 3:47. See if she can challenge that time. Don't have a running clock here in the venue. So
No.
I'm not sure where we're standing.
I think once the winner hits the time pad, we lose the clock, don't we?
That's it, yeah.
It's the same at most swimming venues, to be fair.
Yeah. If we were organised, we'd bring a stopwatch with us.
Next year.
3:56 for Sulamanova, so outside the entry time, but not by much, still under the 4-minute mark. But Marta Fernandez Infante well clear at the front of the field. Again, she has been excellent over the past few years, Marta Fernandez Infante. Especially that butterfly, that is incredibly impressive, a butterfly stroke, isn't it?
Yeah, she's got a great 50 meters butterfly, Fernandez Infante. And we do see her sometimes use it on the 50 freestyle. Pereira Barreto often uses her backstroke on the freestyle. But today it was that more traditional front crawl stroke for Fernandez Infante that produced her fastest time of the year.
1:34 for the Spanish swimmer. 2 Brazilians in 2nd and 3rd, ahead of the 2 Canadians. And the Azerbaijan swimmer in 6th place. Well, Fernandez Infante will be in that final. 7 swimmers in the 2nd heat. I think you're probably looking... Yeah, Shondorf should make it into the final. 2 Brazilians should be safe. The Canadians will be watching this one with interest.
Yeah, again, it's quite tight in clusters, isn't it? Fernandez Infante came in as the second quickest, but Leanne Smith, by her own admissions, doesn't expect to get near the time that she went last year to win, which was the world record. She was in excellent form in Funchal, Leanne Smith. That time, 1:27.62, is what she's entered in here today.
Yeah, there's Ellie Chalice, the home favourite. Great Britain's top medal winner at these championships so far. Greek swimmer Jazizi or Hazizi in 1, Gurenko in 2, Patricia Valley in 3. In 4, there's Leanne Smith. She's the reigning world champion. Ellie Chalice will go in 5 from the block. Sonia Sigurdardottir, there she is, the Icelandic nails for her. And Elif Ildem, the S1 swimmer in the outside lane. So the Greek swimmer in lane 1, Jazizi or Hazizi, is the S2. Elif Ildem, the S1 swimmer in lane 7. The rest are S3.
Yeah, Chalice enjoying this home championships. It is a real privilege as an athlete to get to compete at an event on home soil. So much goes in to your performance as an elite athlete. From your friends, your family, your coaching team, the people that you work with, your community, it all has to come together. And when you're able to race and have them in the stands, that is one of the best feelings when you're well, any athlete, but as a swimmer, it's amazing. And I think Ellie Chalice really is enjoying having that opportunity here this week, and she's rewarding them with some excellent performances. Leanne Smith turned second there. We said, not the swimmer that we saw last year, but she's done well in some events this year. She got on the podium last night, which will make her very happy. She's there. That stroke has slightly changed. She used to rotate one of her arms out and recover it out of the water and bring that other one through, as you can see on the left. Now she does that with both of the arms. So she does get propulsion when she pulls the water, but it's just the recovery of the arms that she's having issues with at the moment. It's a strong pull. You can see she's still getting hold of the good water, which is why she's moving away, and she's in that second position of this heat at the moment. Patricia Valle Benitez of Mexico, one of their very experienced athletes, going well. But Ellie Chalice, she is having the meat of her life.
She is 1:46 this time for Ellie Chalice. To one swim that is outside her best time. I'm sure she'll be faster in the final. Ellie Chalice went just over 1:41 already this year. So 1:46 for Ellie Chalice, nods her head. There's Leanne Smith finishing in second, Patricia Valle in third. There's Sonia Sigurdardottir. Yeah, some experienced campaigners in this one. Patricia Valle, 10th World Championships, only been 11. She's done all but the first one.
Which is why a few heats ago you said Camacho Ramirez was a relative newcomer to the Mexican team.
He was. Yeah, it's only his second World Championship, I think, maybe third. Or second, I think, Camacho Ramirez. But yeah, vastly experienced team, the Mexicans. We spoke about them yesterday, having great strength in these S3, S4 classifications, that sort of area, because they have a great history in that, and they attract people into the sport in that country.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can see Chasizi Hozizi just finishing off her final 20 meters now, the Greek athlete down in lane 1. And Greece are also an example of a country that have some really experienced servants, and they've been the older of the team than the athletes, but they bring through these youngsters, and they are the role models. And Chasizi Hozizi, only 17 years old, youngest athlete we've seen in the Greek team for a long time.
Yeah, Greek team very successful in the S1, S2 classifications. They picked up big medals in the past. They won, it was Makro Dimitris, I think, won back in 2004 in Athens. Again, to the delight of the home crowd then, picking up that gold medal in his home Paralympic Games. And again, that is a great swim there from Chasizi or Hazizi. Finishing in 4:16.44 with an entry time of 4:19, so you can do no more than do your best time.
It's where you want to do your best time at the major championships of the year. We can see this is Ellie Chalice's turn, and like we said in the swim, she's having an amazing week. She's enjoying herself, she's swimming fast, and she's got an opportunity to medal in a number of events here. Not all of these events that she's been swimming in this week are Paralympic events, so she will turn her focus to those for the next 12 months, but it's really nice to have the opportunity to contribute so heavily to that medal tally for the home nation.
Chalice and Leanne Smith having a little bit of a chat there on the lane ropes. And Ellie Chalice wins that second heat ahead of the American Smith. Patricia Valle in third place Marta Fernandez Infante leads the way. Chalice, Scharndorf, Smith, Valley, Pereiro Barreto, Sigadardo Tier in there, and Nikita Enns getting in for Canada. So just one Canadian making into that. So an important little tussle between the Canadians there. One just missing out on the final, one making it in. And there is a heat in this aquatic centre this morning. It's quite sticky again as we go into the next set of heats, the men's 100 freestyle S3. It's the longest heat session we've had this week, isn't it, Liz?
It is indeed. Save the best till last, I guess. Get more action in on that final day. It's a quick final session. There's lots of 50s tonight.
Yeah, not so many distance events, just those S11 400s, one 200 metre individual medley. There's the lineup for the 100 freestyle heat. Arenas, Albaya, Sarati, Rodriguez, Boni, Palamarchuk, Leshniak, and Unlu. 6 swimmers in this first heat, 7 in the second. Palamarchuk and Boni. There was Unlu. He goes in lane number 7. Just missed out on the medals yesterday. Right outside lane. Again, Unlu over there in lane number 7. Again, this S3 classification, as we saw with the women. Range of starts here. Most of the swimmers getting held by the coaches by the feet. Unlu goes from the block. Sarati Rodriguez, that's the use of that cord at the start, hanging off the block.
Well, Unlu's had some great swims from the outside lanes to get him through into the final. Be looking to continue that today. He just got touched out on that final stroke rotation, really, in 200 meters, just missing out on a medal. So this 100 meters might suit him better. Palamarchuk in 5 for Ukraine has got off to a good start. He heads the field. We come under the flags into the red zone, which is 5 meters to the turn. Vincenzo Boni going well for Italy in that centre lane. A double arm backstroke. He's fast round the wall and off and up and into his stroke. Unlu is second at the turn, and he'll be looking to hold that position down this second 50.
Yeah, again, range of techniques here. Boni going on his back. The other 2 leaders going on that front crawl. Boni coming back in the closing stages here as they come down towards the finish. Palamarchuk looking good in lane number 5. Already a medalist this week in the 50. Boni medalist in the 200, so they're kind of meeting in the middle here. And Unlu, as we said, just missing out on the medals in that 200 yesterday. Palamarchuk, though, is going to hit the wall in front. 140.49 for him. That's a decent time for Palamarchuk. 140, very fast indeed. Just outside the best time of the year, which is set by Ostapchenko, who goes in the next heat, but that's the fastest time of the year for Palamarchuk by some 7 seconds there. So he's improving his form as he comes into this championship. Unlu as well has been one who has really improved at these championships, really posting excellent times. That's a big improvement for him.
Yeah, Boni also his quickest time of the year. So these S3 category events have been churning out some really competitive finals. There's been some really close calls and close touches, and it's because everybody's bringing their A game to these World Championships, as you would expect. Palamarchuk did have a great first 50. We knew he had that speed, but look at Boney finishing very strongly indeed.
We're still waiting for confirmation of the result. It's a freestyle event, of course, but still things can go wrong. We're speaking to one of our officials and the technical delegates. How many things did they say you can get disqualified for in freestyle?
About 20 things that you could get disqualified for in a freestyle event. Maybe that should be your pop quiz question.
Maybe. Yeah. I think there is a disqualification in this one. Well, one of those 20 things looks like someone has fallen foul of the officials in one of those things. I suppose what can it be? False start. Could touch the bottom, I suppose, on freestyle, but pretty difficult in this pool.
You can touch the bottom, you're just not allowed to walk. So you can on a freestyle event actually stop and touch the bottom, as long as you don't move while your feet are on the bottom.
It's kind of like pulling on the lane ropes. So Palamarchuk confirmed as the winner. Boney in second, but it is Unlu who has got that disqualification, unfortunately. Lechniak going through in third place then, and fourth place Zarate Rodriguez. So next heat to come. That was unfortunate for the Turkish swimmer Unlu. Go on to the next heat. Ioannis Kostakis coming out. He will go in lane number 2. Ahmed Kelly from Australia. Great swim in the individual medley. Out to the centre lanes, Lopez Diaz in 5, Ostapchenko in 4. So again, some names we are familiar with from this week. Ostapchenko has been in great form. Taking gold in 50 freestyle, taking the gold in the 200 freestyle, also taking the gold in the 50 backstroke, and dramatic race from Ostapchenko. And the gold was initially awarded to Ferrer Robles, but Ostapchenko hitting the pad but not hard enough to register a time. They go side by side again. Ferrer Robles from Spain in 3, Ostapchenko there in lane number 4. Again, very similar starting techniques for a lot of the swimmers. Ahmed Kelly going from the dive, the Australian in lane number 6.
Yeah, and it was Kelly got off to the best start. You'd expect that unique stroke up there in lane 6 that he's developed. Sort of a breaststroke leg kick with butterfly arms to minimise the resistance through the water and maximise the power. The in-form Ostapchenko on the left of your shot there. And there is Lopez Diaz coming through the middle in lane 5. It is Ostapchenko that leads the field. Ferrer Robles closest to us on the left there in that black hat of Spain, but it will be Ostapchenko around the wall. 48.55 from Lopez Diaz, 50.35, and Ferrer Robles 51.47. Ahmed Kelly just turning in 4th position for Australia. We did see Lopez Diaz swim part of his 200 freestyle. There he is in your shot now on his back, but he's stuck to his front for this 100 meters. There's Ostapchenko leading the way.
Yeah, Lopez Diaz did that front crawl swim in the heats of the 200. He went onto his back for part of the final, but Ostapchenko, well, had some close contest in the sprint events, but in the 200 he was absolutely miles ahead of the rest of the field, and that's the way it is proving here in the 100. Very dominant performance there from Ostapchenko. Be a big favourite for this one tonight. Lopez Diaz swimming well, getting into 2nd place for Robles in fourth, just ahead of Ahmed Kelly. But Ostapchenko coming through very strongly. There is Diego Lopez Diaz, 145.44. Wonder what he's got in the tank. The final swimmers in the outside lanes coming through. El Said and Becca da Silva. Again, this one very tight for second position and third place there, but no doubt about who took that one. Ostapchenko.
No, we saw Bruno Becca da Silva coming in there at the end. It's a combined event. He was the only S2 swimmer in those two heats, but it's difficult to see past Denis Ostapchenko for this one tonight. He just looks so relaxed. That's 2 seconds quicker than he's been this year. The experience of Lopez Diaz and the form of Ferreira Robles might challenge. There's challenges everywhere, but Ostapchenko's just got such an advantage at the moment.
Yeah, Ostapchenko will go through in first place. Lopez Diaz, world record holder in 132 is that world record. That might be under threat tonight from Ostapchenko. Palamarchuk will be there. Boni, Lopez Diaz, alongside his Mexican colleague Zarate Rodriguez. Ferreira Robles will be there as well. As we go in to the S6 classification now. 50 metres butterfly for the S6 men. Women have gone straight to final. No heats for the women, but we do have these heats for the men. Again, interesting tussles in prospect here. Juan Jose Gutierrez Bermudez. First of the Gutierrez Bermudez we will see. We have another one in the heats to come, the second heat. Gabriel Melon de Oliveira will go in lane number 2. The tall figure of Laurent Chardard from France in 4. Wang Jingang in 5. Jia Hongguan in 6, and Gary Bigino from the Philippines in lane number 7.
Well, it was a great start from Wang Jingang in lane 5. He leads the way at the moment with Jia Hongguan going well, as is Laurent Chardard in the centre lane. So those three out of the way. These are loaded heats, so they won't want to hold off too much this morning. Chardard working hard in these final stages.
Yeah, Chardard coming through now, but it is going to be Wang into the wall. 31.32 for Wang. Very fast time. 2 fast times at the front of the field there. 31.32, 31.47. Laurent Chardard will make it into the final just behind Wang Jingang. Wang Jingang, Paralympic champion back in Tokyo. He won this title in London. Time he won in London was 31.32. He's done that exactly again. 31.32. Chardard took the world title in Madeira last year. So the 2 world champions there. Right at the front of the field. Well, the smaller arm of Wang Jingang. Good finish from Chardard though. He finished well on that big arm of his.
Well, it's very tight. Like I said, these heats are loaded. There's 2 heats, but they're stacked. So this second heat of swimmers won't be hanging around. Don't want to just be on the wrong end of that touch. That then means you are the individual that misses out on the final.
It's Tarzan Glock had such a good swim in the 400. Nelson Crispin, he was the world champion back in 2017, silver medalist last year. He's had up and down week, Nelson Crispin. Go in lane 4. Fastest time in the year. Nelson Crispin, he posted that back in April in the Singapore World Para Series. He's in the centre of the swimmers in this second heat.
Yang Hong got away well up in 6, as did David Sanchez Sierra in lane 3. Crispin Corzo coming through the middle now to hit the front with 15 meters to go.
Yeah, it's very close for second, but Nelson Crispin is coming through strongly into the last 5 now. The Colombian's going to get this one, and it in the 32-second range, 32.26. Not quite as fast as the first heat. David Sanchez Sierra in second, 33.1. And Taliesin Glock in third, 33.3. Well, it's going to be tight to make that final. Yang Hong, 33.94. Nelson Crispin will be in it, but there's a few swimmers, a couple of swimmers ahead of him. It's a good start, very even start actually from the swimmers around Nelson Crispin. David Sanchez Sierra going well, but it came down to the touch there for Nelson Crispin. He gets in first position. Sanchez Sierra in second. Glock should be in the final. Yang Hong, well, that was a very close finish there. Just ahead of Gutierrez Bermudez. They might just both sneak in there though. Wang Jingang leads the way. Lawrence Chardard, Nelson Crispin, David Sanchez Sierra. The big names are all there.
Oh, it's going to be tight for a medal. It's going to be tight for the gold in that one.
Yeah, Nelson Crispin, of course, visited us yesterday.
He did with his family. Said we've got lots of good visitors throughout this week here in the comms box.
2 Australians in this first heat of the S9 50 Freestyle. On Canadian, Katarina Roxon back in the water again after that breaststroke earlier. Emily Beecroft in 3. Alex O'Leary, champion in the 100 Freestyle. She goes in lane number 4. Susanna Vega, medalist in the last 2 World Championships, goes in lane number 5. There she is. Daniela Jimenez in 6, and Su Jieling goes in lane number 7. So the 2 yellow caps of Australia. Alexa Leary, winner of that 100 freestyle. Can she do the freestyle double? She's got to make the final first. She goes in lane number 4. Good start from Beecroft. 1 lane down from Leary.
Yeah, Leary going well now though with that strong leg kick, propelling her through the 25 meter mark. She's clear of the field by about 3/4 of her body length. Beecroft still having a good swim.
Well, Leary went very fast in the heats of the 100. She's going very fast here in the heats of this 50, 28.34. Swift time in the heats for Alexa Leary, sending a message to the rest of the field. Beecroft in second, 29.55, and Vega in third position, 30.27 for the Portuguese swimmer. Zhu Jieling, 30.46. It was tight for third, fourth and fifth, but Susanna Vega on the right side of that one.
Yeah, Leary though was 1/100 slower than she's been this year. She's the second fastest in the world behind Mariana Ribeiro, who will go in the next heat for Brazil. When she was off that block and up into her start, she swam very well, Leary, to take the heat. Vega just getting that third place touch there ahead of Zhu Jieling right at the top.
Yeah, Daniela Jimenez not too far behind in fifth position. So top 4. I think top 3 will certainly be in there. Of course, 6 swimmers in the next heat. Maybe the top 4. So Zhu Jieling might just take that one. She was an outside lane for the 100 Butterfly final. Zhu Jieling, but she won. There's the lineup for this second heat. Hannah Aston, Sarai Gascon, Mariana Ribeiro, Florian Bulcher, Elizabeth Smith and Camille Cruz. Mariana Ribeiro, the favourite for this one. Fast time for the Brazilian, this Florian Bulcher. goes in lane number 5. Lizzie Smith from the USA in 6. Ribeiro, no, in lane number 4. Silver medalist behind Alexa Leary. In the 100 freestyle, Sarai Gascon was the bronze medalist. She goes in lane number 3, 1 lane down from the leader.
Yeah, Ribeiro going very well. Her and Butcher off the block together. Smith had a great underwater for America at the top of the pool, but Ribeiro going well. She leads the way as Butcher tries to fight through.
Here is Ribeiro into the finish here. Another fast time, 28.25 for her. And just a touch faster than Alexa Leary in that previous heat. Second place, Florian Butcher. It was Lizzie Smith in third place. 29.62 for the American. Sarai Gascon, 30.18 for her. Those top 4 should make it in okay.
It was a control swim from Sarai Gascon this morning. She will have more to give tonight, but the best start coming from Lizzie Smith, and really that set her up well for that 50 freestyle. She was disappointed with her 100 meters butterfly, but then in the 100 backstroke last night she swam quicker than she swam in almost 4 years. So sometimes it's the events that you don't concentrate on that move forward, but it'll be difficult to see past Ribeiro and Leary in the final tonight.
Yeah, 2 good times there from the 2 heats. Look at that, only separated by 9/100ths of a second. Butcher will go in third. Beecroft, Smith, Gascon, Vega and Zhu makes it into the final again in an outside lane. Don't discount the Chinese swimmer Zhu. Men's 50 freestyle in the S9 classification. We have 1 swimmer to lose. Got heats of the relay a little bit later on. Some of these swimmers might be coming back into the relay, the S9 women and S9 men. Might see them again quite quickly. Vasilenko for Ukraine in 3. Fredrik Solberg for Norway. Line number 4, there's he go, Didier. Raft of silver medals to his name this week. Here is Solberg. Silver medalist last year, Fredrik Solberg, tied for that position with Jamal Hill. Solberg in 4, Didier in 5, Vasilenko 3, Maria Alcaraz from Spain in lane number 6. What a good start from Solberg, using those strong legs to get off that blocks really well.
Yeah, he's a body length up on the rest of the field. He does use that reaction and that start so well. And look at the bow wave that he is creating as he powers down here.
Oh, Solberg, look at that. Head down for Solberg into the wall, 25.06. Great time from Fredrik Solberg. Wow, that is a huge time for him. Proving his best time of the year by over half a second. That was impressive from Fredrik Solberg.
He looked so strong in that first 25 meters. Sometimes in the past we've seen him fade in the final few meters, but he's delighted with that as he managed to hold that strength and power and speed for the entire 50 and was rewarded with an excellent time.
Well, sent a little bit of a message to the rest of the field. And Solberg, he didn't even finish on his good arm there on that one, so maybe a little more to give for Fredrik Solberg. 25.06, yeah. Wow, indeed. Vasilenko just a second behind. In second place, Didier will be in the final. That's confirmed because there's only 5 in the second heat. Maria Alcaraz, a good time from him as well, but will it be good enough for the final? Because here is the second heat. Well, 26.85. Oh, it's 4th place in that first heat, so that's what these swimmers are aiming for. I think certainly 4 swimmers from this one should make it into the final. The big names: Braunschweig in 6, Jamal Hill, Barlam and Shrek Martinez. That's Victor Scody, the Mauritius swimmer, goes in lane number 2, but there's Barlam, the world record holder, goes in lane number 4. Jamal Hill, the silver medalist from last year, tied for that silver medal position with Fredrik Solberg, who we saw in the first heat.
I'm sure he'd take a 25-0 from this heat, Jamal Hill.
I wonder what Barlam's going to do in this one. We've seen him just cruise into the heats knowing that he's in qualification. We've seen the Italians, Raimondi, Barlam, win things from outside lanes. Wonder if Barlam just fancies being in the centre lane next to Solberg in this final. Here comes Barlam, here comes Hill, Shrek Martinez and Braunschweig going well. But look at this, what a swim here from Barlam, wow. 24.34, well, I'll take your 25-0 and I'll raise you to 24.3.
Well, to be fair, Barlam did come into this. His fastest time of the year is 24.10, so he did have a huge margin over Solberg. 26.2 was second in that heat for Jamal Hill. Little nod of the head there from the American. He is one of those swimmers that you were talking about, Paul, that will be back very shortly for the relay performance in the heats of the mixed 4x100 34-point freestyle relay.
Yeah, there was Barlam. Great swim there from Barlam. 24.35. He was just outside, you said, Liz, in the Berlin World Series. It's by a small margin. And he's out by not very far there, 0.3 of a second outside the world record. He will go in as favourite. Fredrik Solberg, though, what a good swim in the heats from the Norwegian. Dmitro Vasilenko in 3rd place, just ahead of Jamal Hill, Shrek Martinez, Didier Braunschweig, Marie Alcaraz, all within 0.8 of a second in the heats. Well, Barlam looks good, Solberg looked good, but absolutely anyone in that final can take the medals.
That is very true. It is going to be fast and difficult to spot.
It certainly will be.
Solberg did have an excellent start though.
And he finished on his wrong arm as well. I think he could dip under 25 tonight.
What a swim that would be.
So S14, the only S14 event is the 100 Butterfly. We'll see the women's heats, then we'll see the men's heats. Eva Coronado Teja in 1, Suchi Andriani in 2, Ruby Storm in 3. From Australia, next to her teammate Paige Leonhardt in 4, Aria Kinoshita in 5, Jungun Kang in 6 and Janina Falk in 7. That's a lineup for this first heat of this 100 Butterfly. Pretty close in the early stages here. Leonhardt and Kanishita in 4 and 5, maybe just edging it at the turn.
Yeah, as they come into the turn, it will be Leonhardt that gets her hands to the wall first, 31.40 ahead of Kanishita, 31.59, with Storm 31.82. They were our front 3 at the turn. They're still very close though between Leonhardt and Kanishita, stroke for stroke as they go through the 75-metre mark. Now it does just look like Kanishita has got the timing and the slight advantage, but they went into the turn like this and Leonhardt got the touch, so we'll see.
Looks like she is going to get the touch again, just putting on the power in the closing stages. Oh, it's a tie, 108.19. Well, there we go. Leonhardt and Kanishita, 108.19, absolutely together at the wall. That was a good contest. Kanishita impressed us in the individual medley, almost taking gold, just beaten by Great Britain's Bethany Firth, Paige Leonhardt, Ruby Storm in 3rd position. Paige Leonhardt, the reigning champion in this one, taking that title last year. We saw her swim butterfly in the medley relay for the Australian team, and they took gold yesterday. But into the wall, it was Australia 1 and 3, Japan second at the turn, and well, absolutely together at the finish. So tied for first place there. Leonhardt and Kanishita, they should qualify for the final very comfortably with that. Ruby Storm, Coronado Tejeja, Indriani in 1:11 might struggle to make that final. So tied for first place there. Leonhardt and Kanishita, they should qualify for the final very comfortably with that. Ruby Storm, Coronado Tejeja, Indriani in 1:11 might struggle to make that final. So tied for first place there. Leonhardt and Kanishita, they should qualify for the final very comfortably with that. Ruby Storm, Coronado Tejeja, Indriani in 1:11 might struggle to make that final.